Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexiot. Saturday morning, and we got a doubleheader games today. Raptors at MSG to play the New York Knicks for the first time after the big trade, the OG RJ trade, and 2 o'clock action for G League Raptors 905 versus the Delaware Blue Coats. So yeah, 2 o'clock. We're playing Philadelphia's G League team here in Mississauga. And so we got to preview that also. So yeah, a couple games today. 2 o'clock, 7:30, Raptors action, doubleheader. Get ready, baby. Yeah. Woo. All right, let's get right into the stuff for the New York game. This is the injury list for the New York Knicks. Josh Hart is questionable for tonight's game. Apparently, he said in an interview in the last 2 days that when RJ and Emmanuel come back to New York, he's going to boo them, is what Josh Hart said in the last 2 days. And I guess he already knew he's going to be sitting on the bench, maybe, and that's why he's going to be booing them. But yeah, Josh Hart's questionable. It's his knee. So we'll see if he plays tonight. And of course, Mitchell Robinson is out still because of his injury. They're saying he's going to be back before the end of the season. And that's why the NBA rejected the New York Knicks disabled player exception because they feel like he's on track to come back before the end of the year. You only get that exception if they're gone for the whole entire year, which I'm wondering why the Raptors don't go do that with Koloko. Maybe Koloko's contract isn't big enough to try and get that for. But yeah, that's the Knicks. Let's go look at their lineup. It's kind of interesting. I see some familiar names here. Their point guard, of course, is Jalen Brunson. The New York Knicks made a decision to go with Jalen, and they didn't need Quickly anymore. So now, tonight we're going to get to see some Quickly versus Brunson. And New York fans will probably enjoy watching that matchup. Dante DiVincenzo has been elevated to the starting lineup since that game against us earlier this season where he came off the bench and he killed us. Well, he's been starting pretty much ever since, and he is the starting shooting guard. OG Anunoby, starting small forward for the New York Knicks. So weird. Scotty's really funny talking about OG playing him tonight. That's going to be a matchup to watch. Watch OG versus Scotty and how Scotty guards OG and OG guards Scotty. It's going to be very fun. Of course, Julius Randle and Isaiah Hartenstein make up the front court. Off the bench, they got guys like Malachi Flynn, Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride, Precious Achua, Jericho Sims, Evan Fournier, Ryan Arcandiacono, Jacob Toppin, and Dwayne Washington Jr. Yeah, there's a lot of players on the Knicks. Yeah, the kid upstairs really screaming right now. It's all right. Let's see. Toronto injuries. Otto Porter Jr. listed as doubtful for today's game. Jakob Poeltl is out, of course. He should be reevaluated sometime in the next 3 or 4 days. I think they're going to reevaluate him. Hopefully, maybe he can be back I would say he's not going to be back for Monday's game against Memphis, but maybe we can get Jakob back for the Clippers on Friday. That's a nice long stretch of games off from Tuesday to Thursday, and maybe you can rehab. Plus, they're here at home. It's really like they go to New York for this game, but they're really around the home base for most of the 2 weeks right now. So I don't know. I would like to see Jakob return to the lineup for the Raptors on Friday against the Clippers. We'd like to see him against Zubac. That would be good. All right, let's go do the refs. And of course, listen, this is an important game today. In some ways, the NBA cares about this game the Raptors are playing in today because it's the first game after a huge trade. And in some ways, they want to ensconce certain things. They already got us down bad in the Atlantic Division. We're playing the Atlantic Division New York Knicks, and we have not won a game against the Atlantic Division this year yet. 0-10. It's ridiculously bad. Well, I want to fix that. But in some ways, the NBA's got storylines they want to write. And that writing is that New York is going to be more of a playoff contender, and we're nothing. We're going away right now. Well, our crew chief tonight is Ed Malloy. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, yeah, that means that they have an interest in who wins tonight. So this is going to be one of those games where we may not see a very fair whistle. As soon as I see Ed Malloy on the referee report, I know shit is fishy. And well, that's who our crew chief is today. Unfortunately, idiot, 22nd season out of Media, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania Mafia referees, favorite TV show Jeopardy, favorite movie Top Gun Maverick. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Ed Malloy, we don't care about what you like to eat. We don't care about where you want to visit. We don't care about your favorite book. We just know you're a hit job artist. You have manipulated us to losses this year already against Boston and Brooklyn. And now you want to get your little New York edition, little feather in your cap with the New York manipulation. I already predicted right now. Ed Malloy is going to do some screwy ass shit tonight. And y'all need to watch him very, very closely. Now, the ref crew, in some ways, is just like that old movie, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And when this guy's the ugly, Ed Malloy is definitely the ugly. We do not want this guy around, but he is around, unfortunately. The second ref is our friend. It's Diedrich Taylor. He's one of my favorite refs. So it's really weird. That's the good. We got the ugly out of the way. We got the good. We're going to have the bad still, too. Trust me. Diedrich Taylor, in his 11th season out of Miami, Florida, is a godsend to the Raptors. He's a former UPS driver for 13 years. He enjoys fishing and playing golf. His favorite TV show is Good Times. His favorite movie is Crash. His favorite musician is Michael Jackson. His favorite book is Tears We Cannot Stop. His favorite meal is breakfast. His favorite app is Candy Crush. He most like to visit Africa. His bucket list is skydiving. And his hidden talent is playing the trumpet and also juggling. Yeah, we like Diedrich a lot, y'all. Seriously, and we should. Scotty, you can't yell at Diedrich. Don't yell at Diedrich. You can yell at Ed Malloy and the other ref. Fine, but don't yell at the middle ref, Diedrich Taylor. We win 69% of our games when Diedrich Taylor is refereeing. We did lose the last game that Diedrich was present at, but I think that was a screwy game. And this may be kind of a similar. Ed Malloy, we've lost both the last games that he ref. As I said, it was Brooklyn and Boston, and he manipulated those games. Now, this is the crazy thing. We win 69% of our games with Diedrich Taylor. Meanwhile, the Knicks win 28% of their games. So the split is 69 to 28 for the Raptors. That's a huge, huge split in our favor. So the second rep is definitely our friend. Did I do the splits for Ed Malloy? I'll do them right now. 45% for the Raptors. We win 45% of our games. We lost the last two games he rep. And the Knicks win 49% of their games. So 45 to 49 is the split with Ed Malloy. He favors the Knicks. So, yeah, very high favoring for Diedrich Taylor. The third ref is the bad, and that is C.J. Washington. You know, when we get refs with the last name Washington, it's suspicious. Tom Washington was okay the other day. But C.J., he's younger. 9th season out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. His favorite TV show is Godfather of Harlem. His favorite movie is Life. That movie starring Martin Lawrence with Eddie Murphy. Favorite musician, Anthony Hamilton. His favorite book is Rise of the King. Favorite meal, lasagna. Most like to visit Italy, and his bucket list is to attend a football game at Notre Dame Stadium. C.J. Washington previously worked as a licensed residential building inspector and a residential real estate appraiser. There you go. That's interesting. CJ has 2 children with his wife. He enjoys traveling with his family and friends, reading, watching movies, and playing golf. Yeah, CJ is a horrible ref for us historically. He is the worst ref for us today statistically, even worse than Ed Malloy. We have won the last 2 games, though, that CJ has ref for us this year, which is actually pretty cool. We win 44% of our games with CJ Washington available. Yeah, it's that bad. Meanwhile, the Knicks only win 40%. So that's actually weird. He actually favors us, even though he's the worst ref. So there's your ref crew. I'm suspicious. I am suspicious. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm suspicious. Ed Malloy, Diedrich Taylor, CJ Washington is the crew. All right, here's our crew for the 9:05 at 2 o'clock, y'all. Get ready for early action. The game starts at 2 p.m. Eastern time at Mississauga, Delaware Blue Coats at Raptors 9:05. True crew chief is Kevin Fahey, number 42. Referee Gina Catanzariti, number 5. And umpire Castine Evans, number 11. So there's your ref report all around for both games. Doubleheader time, 2 o'clock, 7:30. Tip-offs, baby. Get ready for action. Yes, basketball action on a Saturday. There you go. Ed Malloy, fuck you. Yeah. All right. Let's get into the comments. Canadian Dana, first in, first. Good morning, everyone. I just hope that OG will go easy on us tonight, please. Happy game day. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. In some ways, I love what Thibodeau said about OG this week. He said he is a defense unto himself. I get it. He's right. This man was doing that stuff for us too. Yeah, I remember. It's sad. In some ways, our team is not the long arm monster it used to be. And these guys are on other teams now. It was weird watching Siakam play for the Pacers last night against the Trailblazers. They lost. He looked okay, but I'm telling you right now, this is the most reluctant acceptance of coming to a trade I've seen in a long time. This man never ever wanted to leave here. And it's weird. It's unnatural. And it's sad. And it's kind of screwy and crazy in a lot of different ways. The whole idea that Siakam is an Indiana Pacer right now is very, very strange. And it's not just strange for us. It's strange for him. Trust me. I can tell. I can read his body language. I watched the post-game interview with him just now. I watched him during the game. I watched him show up. And I know that he's excited, enthusiastic about the prospects, the new prospects with Indiana. But I don't think he ever saw this reality coming for him, that he would be wearing another team's jersey. And it doesn't totally feel comfortable or right for him. I really know that that's how he feels right now. It's crazy. It's very strange. In some ways, watching some of the Portland game last night, it looked like the Pacers were freezing him out. They were not giving him the ball. They weren't looking for him. In some ways, I know they're not familiar with him. They don't know his spots, and maybe they were being more careful. But it didn't look totally like people were eager to help him on that new team to do what he needs to do. That team's weird, too. They've got a younger mix, and I don't know. In some ways, Siakam's such an interesting personality. In some ways, he really does like creature comforts and the same people around him. There's a whole new cast around him, and I worry for him in some ways because I know that either way, he's going to be all right. But I know that this is one of the most unnatural feeling couple of days he's ever had in his life right now. I know it. I know deep down inside it's like that. Trevor J saying, good morning, Raptors family. Happy game day. Let's go. Let's go, Trevor J, to Madison Square Garden with 75 Raptor freaks and go into that arena and get loud. Yeah, let's go, Trevor J. Yeah, Pascal's first game with 21, 5, and 3. Not bad numbers. It's just the little part I watched, it didn't look like they were looking for him. He was open. He had different spots. I guess they just got to learn him. They got to learn him. Coach Carlisle saying that the Trailblazers are a hard matchup for the Pacers. They kicked their butt twice, and he's glad that they don't have to play them again for the rest of the season because they're, in particular, not a good team for the Pacers to match up against. And, yeah, they kicked their butt again. Jeremy Grant, a problem. And Pascal was guarding him at the beginning of the game, and he's doing pretty good. And Quinn Buckner was saying stuff like, oh, it's so good to have a defender like Siakam that could hold down Jeremy Grant, a very difficult player to guard. And that's true. They have a better defender of that type to help the Pacers at this point. But he also, later on, Rick Carlisle said, I should have realized we needed to double Jeremy earlier because he got going any which way. You couldn't play him just straight up with just Siakam. He should have sent the double at him earlier last night. That's what he was saying. But, yeah, interesting game. I did tune in and watch the first run that he had with the Pacers just because I had to see it. I didn't watch the whole entire game, though. As soon as he came out of the game, I was not interested in watching that game any further. So, yeah, I watched his first stint. In the first couple points he made, a nice little quick mid-range shot, normal. He did get a spin in before I switched it off. He got a 3 also. So he had 7 points in his first run with the Pacers in the first shift on the court. Let's see. Trevor saying LeBron complained to the refs that he got fouls going to the basket, but he got a technical instead. Hey, I love that. I love that. Who was the ref last night that called that technical on LeBron James? I want to keep note of you because you're a badass. Some ways I'm going to go look that up, Trevor, seriously, after this. I got to know who the refs are that are possible to do this. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Trevor saying, me and the crew will be at Madison to support the Raptors tonight. Let's get it. Yeah, go get it. Go get that W, Raptors. Seriously, Scotty. Listen, this is the thing I want to tell you. The other day was a lost opportunity. You were on national television. That's the only time we're going to be on national television this whole entire season was when we played the Bulls the other night. In some ways, these games matter. Like this game tonight matters too. There's going to be a lot of eyes on this game, New York versus Toronto. And in some ways, these are the games where you need to go above and beyond. There's no telling if we're going to get any playoffs this year. There's no telling we'll even get a play-in game. So, Scott, these important marquee matchups during the season need to be these games where you absolutely shine and take a bigger spot and grow and do more and just do stuff that gets notice, that gets the spotlight, because the spotlight is around you right now, but you need to jump in it and make yourself it. Instead of Vucevic getting interviewed the other night, it should have been you. You should have been the one standing there with Vince Carter, the man who helped you get Rookie of the Year, and Grant Hill talking to Shaq and Charles and Kenny in the studio back in Atlanta. It should have been you. That could have been your moment, just like Vince had on a Sunday afternoon against the Phoenix Suns when he scored 50 points in his early young career as a Raptor. I was at that game, and he was the first time we were on NBC and national television in the States. And, well, he made us look real good. Scotty, you got to realize when these games are. If you really want to be a face of the league, you've got to take these opportunities to showcase yourself and kick some ass. And the most important way to showcase yourself is to get that W. So, yeah, take this game seriously tonight. Very, very seriously. I know you do take all games seriously, but in some ways, there's some games where you need to get up a little extra for. And a game like the Bulls the other night on national television on TNT was one of them. And this game against the Knicks and your old friend OG Anunoby is another one. So don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. Do big things tonight. You'll get the notice. All eyes are on New York tonight. Trust me, they are. They sent Ed Malloy there. That means this game's important, is what I'm saying. So you write your own script. We got to go 5-on-8. Well, you're going to have to be that much more badass to lead us towards it. Yeah, you're going to have to. I love it, though. I love it. I can't wait to see your success come. But I know there will be some failure mixed in with that, getting to that success. Yeah, Cowboys here. Good morning, Lex. Bam, Raptor Freaks. This is must-watch TV tonight. Let's go, Raptors. I agree, Cowboy. Must watch. You must watch the Knicks and the Raptors tonight because you have to analyze this trade. That's right. Have fun, Trevor. And thank you to the Cowboy from Trevor J. Trevor J is also bringing up some more news of the day. Boston's winning streak at home came to an end last night by the hands of the champion Denver Nuggets. You know, I was wondering how long they're going to let the Celtics home win streak go. Well, I thought they were going to try and let them be perfect, but wow, they were actually beating the Nuggets pretty good when I last checked the score. And then I looked at it again and I was like, oh, the Nuggets won. And I was very happy. Yeah, I'm glad it's them too. They deserve it. They're the champions. They should mess up that record, that perfect home record of the Celtics. Yeah, I love it. Good job, Jokic. Good job, Jokic. Good job, Jamal Murray and the Denver Nuggets. Good stuff. Trevor's saying, we beat Miami. That doesn't count. We beat Miami. That doesn't count. What you mean? The game that we won on Wednesday when we beat the Miami Heat? That was a great win. That was a good win. That was the first game after Siakam trade, and we won. So that's pretty good. Monique is here. Super fan Monique Lawrence. Good morning, Raptor Freak family, and happy game day. Happy game day to you, Monique. I hope you have a nice warm day inside, away from all the elements out there. Ooh, cold, cold, cold around North America, not just here in Canada. Kevin's here. Big game today, man. Yeah, where's Milbester, right? Where's Milbester, Kevin? We need to see what Milbester's got to say today. I knew he'd probably show up today. We'll have to see. And Kevin, always good to see a great Raptor Freak like Kevin Thompson in the chat this morning. Stargate saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Hopefully we play well against the Knicks and get a win. Ed Malloy will make it difficult. Talking about ref hit jobs last night, Pacers game in Portland, 2 words, Scott Foster. Oh, Scott Foster was involved in that game with Siakam and the Trailblazers. I didn't even notice that. Well, that's fishy. That's definitely one of the 2 worst refs in the league, the other one being the one we got tonight. Ed Malloy and Scott Foster are the 2 most corrupt, messed up refs in this league. They definitely are. Let's see. G's here. Good to see G. Watch the game. Pascal played well. Pacers defense overall is not good. They looked off overall though, but chemistry may take time. Well, that's one of the things Siakam's supposed to do to help them, is because he's another really long wing and he's a different kind of defender than anybody they had already. That he's supposed to help with people like Jeremy Grant, and it's going to take some time for him to get in, meshed with the other guys on the Pacers and learning the tendencies on defense of knowing where to cover up for helping this guy or that guy. Like, this may be the weakness of Turner, and I need to shore up this part of what he can't get to. This may be what I need to look out for if Hallie's going to gamble or somebody's going to do this to get a steal. It's just learning the personal quirks and tendencies of his new teammates. He's so ingrained with the Raptors and knowing our guys for 8 years. That going to the Pacers and learning the defensive system and everything about it, it's not going to happen like that. It's going to take some games and weeks for that to happen. So yeah, that their defense is going to be upgraded over time because Siakam is there, but it's not going to happen overnight. This isn't like OG. See, that's a difference in some ways. OG will go to New York and immediately he's going to have his effects because, like Thibodeau said, OG is a one-man defense in some ways. I don't know how he does it, but he does. He does do it. Duke Rocks is here. Good to see Duke Rocks, Raptor Freak fantasy basketball champion of last year. I didn't see that the Pacers were freezing him out. Pacers were in foul trouble most of the game, and for the most part, he did well for his first game. Like I said, Duke, I only watched like the first possessions that he was out there, and there was a couple breaks where I saw that he was open, and they didn't look to him. It's like stuff that if we were watching our game, I'd be like, yeah, there's the Siakam pass. Boom, we would have hit him. There was a few missed opportunities. Let's just put it that way, that I noticed with my eye that, well, that obvious logical thing there is to give Siakam the ball and let him finish. But no, they weren't connecting. There's a couple of fast breaks at the beginning of the game where Siakam could have gotten the ball, but Halliburton didn't know how to get it to him right. And that was part of the problem there. So I don't know. There was one play where it looked like they froze him out, where he could have gotten the ball and he was open, but they were passing around the other side of the court and ignoring him. I don't know if they froze him out for most of the game. I mean, he did get 21. I'm just going off of my little first impression. And this is normal for like guys showing up on a new team. Edmund's saying Siakam plus 17 and the bench is a minus 61, but the Pacers fans are already complaining about the trade. See, I've heard a lot of different stuff. I've heard that they're very excited about it. If some of them are complaining, well, whatever. I mean, what do they expect? You're going to get what you get with him. In some ways, Siakam is an amazing, overpowering player, but he does have his weaknesses too. But I don't think that you guys should care about his weaknesses because you need his strengths. Oh, my God, Pacers, y'all need his strengths so badly. And the weaknesses that Siakam has get covered up by people like Tyrese Halliburton. So just go ahead and enjoy him. Seriously. Yeah, in some ways, I get it. Y'all are weird down there and stuff like that. And people are going to overreact a couple different ways. But I feel like a lot of the Pacers fans are really excited, enthusiastic about him being there. There may be a couple of them that are complaining. A lot of their complaining people are that he's on an expiring contract and they don't have assurance that he will stay with them and be retained this summer. That's the biggest worry they have. That whole first round haul that we just got for them will be like for a guy that they're only going to get for a couple months. Is they're worried he's going to turn around and sign with somebody else this summer. And that's the biggest criticism of this trade from Pacers fans, is they're worried about he's going to take off on them. I'll tell you this, Pacers fans, assuage your fears. He's going to stay with y'all. He's not the kind of guy that jerks people around. He really didn't want to leave Toronto for a lot of reasons. So you think he's going to try and be on a third team this summer all of a sudden? Maybe. But I'll tell you, the chances aren't very likely. You guys have the best chance, and you will probably retain him. That's all I got to say to Pacers fans that are worried about that. Kevin's saying we should have got Jarace Walker, too. That dude doesn't even get minutes. Yeah, it is what it is. In some ways, Masai and Bobby were like, if y'all aren't going to give us the players we want, like Nebhard or Mathurin or Obi Toppin or Jarace Walker, then we're going to take players that you have expiring on contract. And that's a really good, powerful, smart thing to get in the trade, is getting a contract like Bruce Brown's and Wara's. where their contracts are expiring this summer, and they come off the books and they make it easier for Masai and Bobby to have flexibility this summer. So I see that as being part of it. The Pacers were stingy about players, and the reason why is because they're really looking at trying to win now, and they don't want to bust up some of the nucleus and rotation that they've got going, and so they couldn't send anybody key. That's part of the reason why we couldn't get those Canadians, is because they really value them and they're part of their main rotation right now. Now, Bruce Brown was in the rotation, but he could be supplanted, put in. I don't know. In some ways, I wish we could have gotten different Pacers players coming here too, for sure. I would have loved to get Nembhard. I mean, Mathurin was never realistic, probably, even though it's crazy. We're talking about Pascal Siakam. He should have maybe gotten Benedict Mathurin. I don't know. But see, Stargate's saying Benedict Mathurin got 2 points off the bench last night, and that's it. Maybe he's not so happy that Siakam has showed up, because in some ways he may be stepping on some of his territory. I don't know. Dark Knight's here. Good to see Dark Knight. He's young and hurt that his friends got traded, so he's an emotional dude. All love, though. You're talking about who are you talking about, Dark Knight? This could be a lot of different people. You talking about Siakam? You're talking about Scotty. Yeah, I'm not worried about Scotty being hurt. I don't think this is true. I think Scotty is, yeah, he's like everybody. He's like, yeah, I'm sad to see you go. But I've seen how he switches teammates on 2K, and he could get used to good new teammates and winning more and doing good things. I mean, Scott is weird. In some ways, he is a very sensitive, nice young man who cares about other people, but he's also cutthroat, and he's kind of he can be an asshole as far as like, I just want to go get mine. And it's not that he's selfish. It's just that in some ways he just wants to keep winning. So he knows it's an NBA is a business. Justin, Delano, all these guys are gone before. Goran even. He was sad about Goran leaving. So I think that he's weather tested to this already in his years in the NBA, Scotty Barnes. And that in some ways his friends leaving is not affecting him as much as y'all think. In fact, he's getting new bonds already with new people showing up. It could be that he's already hit it off with Bruce Brown Jr. It seems like he's real cool with RJ and Emmanuel already, and he has new friends around. He's just made more friends. In some ways, that's a good thing. He has other friends that are gone. They're always going to be his friends. He's made new friends. He's going to have more friends going forward. And hopefully they'll gel and they'll get along really well and they'll become like really tight. That's what we want. So I don't know. In some ways, I worry about this, but I don't. Because look at the way Scotty played in the game the other night. He didn't seem that affected. He kicks a lot of ass. Nako's saying caught the first little bit of the Pacers. Pascal looked good. He'll probably look better in 2 or so weeks. Yeah, you probably watched about the same amount as me, Gerald. And it's like, all right, I'll watch while Siakam's out there. But once he goes to the bench, yeah, this is boring. I don't want to watch this game once Siakam's out there. I just want to see what he's doing. I want to see him come out there. He didn't look like the same person in the yellow jersey. It was weird. It was very weird. He has all these rituals he does before the game, the kicking the ball, the running out, the bam, 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 the patting, the goalpost, everything he does before the game. It just looked weird. And it's like even awkward, like, all right, guys, hey, new teammates, Halliburton, all right, yeah, here you go. Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, all right, yeah. It's weird. It's just weird. It's weird. I'm sure that he's saying the same damn thing right now. It's just weird, y'all. This is just weird. He just came back from a West Coast trip. Now he's back out west all of a sudden. He wasn't expecting to be on that time zone again all of a sudden, just like that. That's weird. It's weird. G saying, I know you don't like Malcolm personally, but I would not mind him on our bench unless he's toxic in the locker room, which I don't know his personality like that. You're talking about Malcolm Brogdon. He was a factor in this game last night, apparently. Rick Carlisle saying that Malcolm Brogdon off the bench killed them in some ways and that he just had a good game. He's a good, solid pro. He's a good guard. In some ways, he's very similar to Derek White as far as like some of the solid kind of stuff he does. I don't know. Y'all keep bringing him up and around our team. At this point, we don't really need his position. Think about who we've got at this point. Emmanuel very much is in this spot at this point. You're going to say backup point guard. Well, we got Dennis. And we may even have this Kira Lewis guy. We're going to get to see him at 2:00. He's been sent to the G League, and he will be playing for the Raptors 905 today. Kira Lewis Jr. going to make his Raptors 905 debut today against the Blue Coats, hopefully, if he's not injured or not hurt. I'll bet you he probably will play. And that'll be fun to see. Maybe we'll see Jeffrey Doughton Jr. today playing for the Blue Coats against the Raptors 905. I hope that he's healthy and he gets to make his playing return against our team this afternoon, Jeffrey Doughton Jr. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting day today. I just think that the logjam is like we had too many wings before. Well, I feel like we have too many guards at this point. I think with Bruce Brown Jr. being here, I want to count him as a guard. I didn't like the lineups that we had in the last game of 4 guards with like Jonte Porter or Thad Young. I didn't like those. We put at one point, we could put out there Dennis, Emmanuel, Gary, and Bruce Brown, all 4 of them out there with one big. That I don't like those lineups. It's such a weird look for the Raptors, considering we were so Vision 6'9" and so long for so long. I don't want to run 4 guard lineups, Darko. I don't care how quick they are. The 3 guard lineup's fine. I can get behind you running Dennis, Emmanuel, and Gary together with 2 bigs. But I don't want to see them out there with Bruce Brown as one of the bigs. That's craziness. There's no way you got the right amount of size if you're going to run a 4 guard lineup, Darko. I'm going to say that. It's crazy. Yeah, I think we got a logjam at this point, G. And unless he's getting traded to get here with some guards going the other way, I would do it then. I don't think he's toxic. He's not toxic with his teammates and his team. He's toxic with the way he got treated by the Celtics and he got upset. And I don't even think that's that toxic. It's just natural. Yeah, I just didn't like the guy. I've never been that worried about him. I've always like when we played against the Pacers or whatever team he was on, the Bucks, I was always like, yeah, he doesn't really thrill me. I know he's really steady and he's really good, but in a lot of ways, I don't know. I don't know why I diss him. I don't know why I diss Malcolm Brogdon. Maybe it's because he chose Boston over us. I think that's what it is exactly. As soon as he made that shit, they came out with that shit saying he could have chosen Toronto or Boston, and he said, well, I want to go to Boston. And he dissed us on that way. And he had no reason to diss us, or they didn't need to put that report out. That's when I started hating Malcolm Brogdon, is basically then. I think that's what it is, G, is when he chose Boston over Toronto. Duke saying Halliburton was rusty coming off an injury and the main reason they lost. Okay, there you go. Duke with a more in-depth report. That makes sense. His first game back. The Pacers fans were happy to see their new player and their other guy come back from injury finally. And sometimes that's too much all at once out on the court. New Siakam, Halliburton back. It's too much. Too much. Monica's saying, hey, Lex, did you hear about the PS43 Foundation staying put in Toronto? Now that put a smile on my face. Yeah, that just makes sense. I think that Siakam's made real bonds with the people that run the PS43 Foundation, and he couldn't do them dirty like that. In some ways, he understands the importance of what they're doing, and he does really, really love our city and care a lot about Canada and the Raptors and Toronto in general. And that's part of his legacy. In some ways, this is beyond his career in playing in the NBA. This is something that he wants to continue for the rest of his life, I'm sure. And that all the roots and the people that he's got organized doing it here matter. And he doesn't want to disrupt that. So he's going to keep things going here the way he should. I'm speculating that his mother's going to stay here. I've been really thinking about this. And I'm like, man, I don't know if she's going to go down there. I mean, she may go down there. They'll have a temporary home, but they're going to definitely have their home up here still. And in some ways, home base and where they operate out of here on North America's continent is in Toronto. And it will be going forward still. So, I mean, listen, in some ways, if he's going to be in North America and he's not working out in LA, he's not with the Pacers somewhere, he's going to probably be here in Toronto because, we got the food he likes. We got the things that are creature comforts from over in Cameroon here in our city. In some ways, he's going to come back up here to get them in the off season and hang around here. So you're probably going to see Siakam around Toronto from time to time still, even though he doesn't play for us anymore. I'll bet you will. I bet you will. You will. And that's a beautiful thing. PS43 staying here in Toronto. I'm sure he'll do some stuff in Indiana also. But yeah, this is the way he wants it. He had it set up this way. He wanted it to be this way. He's going to continue to have it this way. Nako's saying, I'd rather have Bruce Brown than Malcolm Brogdon personally. I think I could get behind this, honestly. Well, that's who we got. In some ways, why covet thy neighbor's wife when you've got your wife? Is what's going on here. It's like we already got Bruce Brown. I don't need Malcolm Brogdon. I want Bruce Brown. And there you go. Easy to be happy and content. because it's already set up and it's this way. There you go, Gerald. You're winning at life. You're with me. I'm with you on this. I'd much rather have Bruce Brown also because he's already here. I love it. G saying true, Nako. Let's see. It jumped, of course. Let's see. He said true, Nako. Bruce made a great first impression. I don't know. I wasn't sure about him wanting to be here, but he seems like he's in. Like, I don't know. I guess he's an ultimate pro. He seems like just a really good guy. And I like the fact that we're hearing that he's bonding with Scott right away. I like the fact that he kind of said when they asked him, you want to try and what are you going to try and do with these 41 games as a tryout to stay with the Raptors? He's like, I'm going to make my best impression to try and stay with them. So who knows? Maybe he is an opportunist. Maybe he does see this whole situation. He's like, you know what? This might be fun here in Toronto because this team has some interesting talent that is coming up. And who knows what they could do, and I could maybe help them. I don't know. We'll have to see. I want to see more Bruce Brown on the court because I have to know more. That was just the first game. And it's impressive that he did that in his first game, not practicing with them at all. But still, we need to see more. I want to see him have a bad game and see what that looks like. How about that? That's important too. Let's see. Kevin's saying Raptors should give Jordan Nwora a chance tonight. He can shoot. I'd love to see that. I think you're right too. That may be what we do is like we give a little bit more discovery to Jordan and Kira. Kira playing for 905 and Jordan playing for the Raptors. That'll be cool. It'll be interesting to see. I'd like to see Nwora get out there. I know that Masai likes Nwora because he's known him since he was 5. 5 years old is when Masai started talking to little Jordan. It's so weird. I'm wondering, like if Masai saw little Jordan Nwora and he said, "You're going to play for me one day in Toronto." And it's like even before he's even got the Toronto job because Nwora was 5. That would have been like what 15 something years ago. That's longer than Masai's been here. Someday you will play for me in Toronto. How do you know that? I just know the future. Okay. That's why I feel real good when Masai says this city will win a championship with or without me. That's right, Bono. With or without you, we're going to win a championship with or without Masai Ujiri is what he said. He knows the future. He can tell the future. Nwora, you will be on my team when you're in your 20s in the NBA. Okay. All right, Mr. Masai. I don't even know if I'm going to the NBA yet. Yeah, you will. And you'll be on the Raptors too in 2024. What? Whoa. Nostradamus? That would be weird if Masai did that. Like, what if he's like walking around in Africa and he can have foresight? He's like, this one, I can tell he is the one who's going to be going to the NBA next. And he's like telling, it's like, guys, he's like, get this guy, bring him in. It's like, I don't know how he does it. All right, Kev Rodriguez is here. Knicks Nation in the house. What? On the Raptor Freak channel. That's right. Respect to Knicks Nation and Kev. Yo, what's up, my guy? He's got the orange and blue in here. And you know what? I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at it. This is kind of a friendly game today in some ways. It's like let the best team win. Let's say hello to our old friends. Let's come in and say hi. OG, we miss you in Toronto. And then say, hey, there's RJ and Emmanuel. I know those guys. I love them. The New York Knicks fans will say that. I'm all about this game tonight in a friendly competition between two Atlantic Division rivals who have a history that's up and down in different ways. But right now we're in a good place because we have shared people we cheer for as fans. And I cheer for OG Anunoby when I don't play y'all. And you guys cheer for RJ and Emmanuel when you don't play us. But tonight we're playing each other. So it'll be fun. In some ways, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be some trash talking, I'm sure, between RJ and old former teammates. Be some trash talking maybe between young Scott and OG. And we're going to see that matchup between Scotty and OG guarding each other. It's going to be hilarious. In some ways, it's very much going to be the Spider-Man meme. It's going to be, oh, you were me. No, you were me. It's going to be like the Spider-Man meme with OG and Scotty matching up against each other. You know they're going to be guarding each other. You know Anunoby and Barnes are going to be guarding each other. They wouldn't have it any other way. Both of them. He's like, Thibodeau comes in. He's like, OG, you're going to guard Scott Barnes. Oh, I knew I was. Yeah. Siakam's not there anymore. So I got to guard the top player on their team. So it's like, yeah, it's going to be Barnes. Yeah. And Barnes is like, they asked him the other day, so stupid. Why y'all ask Scotty such stupid questions at press conferences? It's like, Scotty, are you worried about playing OG on Saturday night? No, I'm ready to roast him just like I roast the rest of the league, is what Scott's all about. Yeah, it's going to be fun. And good day to you, sir. Kev Rodriguez, Knicks Nation. Yes, a friendly competition between two Atlantic Division teams tonight. Yes, let's go. Wayne's saying the allocates for our former players are just amazing. Yeah. I watch and listen to other sports forums and never heard such compliments. I'm happy for them. I want to see their compensation packages. Yeah, you won't shine a bright light on the accomplishments and greatness of our Toronto Raptors while they're on Toronto. But once they go to another team, all of a sudden, whoa, does their profile go up? Wow, all these great compliments. And wow, all of a sudden, he's an NBA champion. All of a sudden, he's all NBA twice. All of a sudden, he's an all defensive second team from last year. All of a sudden, he's like a G League success story who came from nowhere, undrafted from Wichita State, and he's an amazing player. This is what's happening. And in some ways, look, we understand it. And because Raptors fans, we've explained this to people for a while, they see it now, and they're like, holy shit, we can really understand what the Raptors are up against now. Because you see how much the media machine blacks us out. Now that you see our guys go to other places, and what they talk about them now. It's like, oh, they're not slighting them like this. Oh, at least this. No, they prop them up. They build them up. They say this. They say that. They say this. Before, they were saying, like, these guys are mediocre. They're not that very good. See, that's the fucked up thing about gaslighting. That's what this is. NBA media gaslighting the Toronto Raptors for years. And, like, they make accomplishments. We have to do so much to get those accomplishments, first of all. And then, they're not going to toot the horn of it. They're going to go on about it. They'll ignore it. They'll try and not remember the 2019 championship. Well, they're going to try not to remember this stuff unless these guys pick up other colors and they put them on their body. Then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, Siakam is a champion, a G League champion, a most improved player, all NBA twice. Just go down the list. And all of a sudden, oh, now we can see your resume. It's not blocked on LinkedIn because you were playing for the Raptors. And now we can see your resume. Oh, I had a filter on NBA media. Oh, damn. Now I know who Siakam is. Holy crap. He was in the league for 8 years and he did all this stuff. Holy crap. I never knew that. Oh, the NBA doesn't cover them. Oh, no wonder. Oh, yeah. Well, shame on y'all. Shame on y'all. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to exhibit a very fine example of gaslighting. Yes, that's what that is, Wayne. That's what that is. And yes, I'm proud that they get their due respect now. In some ways, listen, we're going to get our respect up here one way or another. That's the way we operate up here. That's right. We're going to get it. That's right. G saying OG posted his Staples Canada promo. It is hilarious without trying. Yeah, he probably had some sort of like quota of Staples ads that he had to put on there. And he's like, well, you're leaving. You're a Staples Canada spokesperson, OG. You better push that up now. You're like, oh, I'm on New York. So what? They still know who you are. Do your crazy office skits with Staples. Staples, where I'm going to go and renew my license now because Doug Ford is in the pockets of big corporations and he wants a big kickback. So people will have to go in the store to go get their license renewed. Shit like that. I don't know. Staples, whatever. Fuck Staples. Fuck Doug Ford. But yeah, OG's commercials are hilarious. And well, he's got a contract. He's got to get those ads out still, even though he plays for the Knicks. He is the spokesperson for Staples Canada. Knicks fans, if you're not aware of the OG Staples commercials, you need to go watch them right now. He's on your team. You guys love Anunoby now. Well, you need to go watch some of this stuff. Seriously, there's OG's most hilarious hits. There's a couple clips on YouTube. You guys need to go watch those too. One summer with Scotty on Twitch, we watched those clips with Scott, and he was dying laughing. One of the best moments on Scotty Barnes' Twitch streams in the summers that he did it was him watching OG's funniest moments clip on YouTube. Yeah, hilarious stuff. So Knicks fans, if you really want to laugh and some good times, watch OG's online stuff. There's not a whole lot because he doesn't do a whole lot of stuff, but he has funny clips, and then he has Staples commercials. And it's almost like OG Anunoby is a member of the Office show. It's basically like if you took the show The Office with Steve Carell and you mashed it up with OG Anunoby, you would get the Staples commercials. So just so you know, if any Knicks fans are watching me right now, you are not aware of these OG Staples commercials, you need to go watch them right now. They're hilarious, and you guys will love him even more. You will for sure. Yeah, Trevor's saying, I mean, we beat Miami, so that does not count for beating Eastern Conference. No, that's not Atlantic Division. There's 4 teams in our division. It's New York, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, and Boston. And those are the games that count in our Atlantic Division. We beat Miami. That's Eastern Conference. That's fine. But all the teams we play in the Atlantic Division, we're 0-10 against. We have not beaten New York, Brooklyn, Boston, or Philadelphia this year yet. And that's who we're 0-10 against. Miami doesn't count. Miami's Southeast Division. They play against 4 other teams in their division. We're in the Atlantic Division, the higher Northern Division. And we ain't won against any of them damn teams. 0-10. So we got to fix that right now. Get 1-10 against the Knicks tonight. Then we could get 1 Atlantic Division win. Because that's it's annoying, Trevor. It's very annoying, is what I'm saying. Monique is saying, if Bruce Brown continues his great gameplay, Masai will have a hard time deciding. Yeah, but if you know what I'm trying to say. I know what you're trying to say. You're talking about, well, are we going to make a decision on which guard to invest in going into the future? Is it going to be Brown Jr. or Trent Jr.? And in some ways, the money that's going to be freed up this summer, well, they got to decide where they want to invest it. And in some ways, the tryouts are going on this year. This whole year is tryouts. Tryouts to stay and play with Scotty. Tryouts to stay and get free agency money from the Raptors this summer. That's what we're finding out for the rest of this season. 40 games to go. And this is your tryout, Bruce Brown Jr. Yeah, let's see what you're going to do. I don't think he's going to get traded. In some ways, people are saying they're going to flip Bruce Brown and trade him again. But some of the rules about trading so quickly are that he can't be traded. In some ways, we can't trade Bruce Brown right now because he can't be traded 40 days after he got traded already. And that's going to be past the trade deadline. So in some ways, Bruce Brown is not getting flipped, like 2NT was saying, because I don't think he legally can be because he just got traded. You can't trade somebody that quickly like that, I don't think, unless they don't even show up. I don't know. I don't know the rules exactly. It's not totally clear, but I get the impression Bruce Brown's going to be on the Raptors for the rest of the year. And then we're going to make the decision on who we're going to invest money in with free agency this summer. So, yeah, there you go. Let's see. Stargate saying, doesn't Bruce have one more year? I don't know. I thought he was expiring this year. I'm pretty sure he's on $22 million for this year, and that's it. I don't know. Maybe I should go check this real quick. I can go check this, so why don't I do it? All right, I will. All right, let's see. No. If I had a research person, I'd just get them to do it, but I don't. I'm just me. I'm a one-man band. That's right. I got the little drums on my feet, and I got the tambourines on my knees. That's right. I'm a one-man band. All right, let's see. What's Bruce got on his contract? I know where to look for it, too. That's the thing. Does everybody know where to look for this? No, I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do. All right, where is it? Nah, he's on his last year of his contract right now. He has an option is what it is. He has I think it's a team option. I think he has a team option. So, yeah, he could be paid $23 million and we could keep him, but we don't have to. We don't have to. We have the option to not do that. So it's a team option. We could keep him on there for 23 next year, and that would be the route for him to stay for next year also, is to do that. So let's see. Duke saying, definitely must watch today. Looking forward to OG versus Barnes, Quick versus Brunson, and RJ versus Randall. It will be a crazy game. Wish Jakob was playing. Yeah, it'd be nice. Hartenstein's been a monster. In some ways, Hartenstein's like it's so crazy what they call him. It's Chuck D of Public Enemy fame is calling Isaiah Hartenstein Dave Cowens. And I don't know if y'all know Dave Cowens. A lot of y'all probably don't. Dave Cowens is a Florida State Seminole, just like Scotty Barnes, myself. And he was a 70s Celtic. And he was in the 80s also. He won a couple championships. He was like this guy who was like 6'10", who was like just really crazy, energetic, and all over the place. He was like Rodman. He was like Rambus. And in some ways, Chuck D is starting to call Isaiah Hartenstein Dave Cowens, the way he plays with his hustle and his rebounding and his defense. So that's an interesting comparison by Chuck D of Public Enemy. Hartenstein's weird. In some ways, he should be a backup center, but he's really expanded his game and played well for the Knicks and the opportunity in the absence of Mitchell Robinson. So it's an interesting front line. He is a monster getting a lot of rebounds. And in some ways, that is the most important metric I'm talking about right now. Since Jakob's been out, the Raptors need to win rebound battles. Well, Hartenstein's one of the biggest things in between the Raptors winning the rebounding battle tonight. Yeah. In some ways, they really got to figure out how they got to handle him because in some ways, I don't really like our size right now. I really don't like our size, and I don't, Thad can do this, Jonte can do that, but hell, oh my gosh, I wish we had more size. I don't feel like we're totally balanced as a roster yet, Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri. I think that we've gotten rid of length and long arm monsters, and now we lack size. We may have more speed, we may have more shooting, we may have more of this and that, but we're missing something that is essential for us to be able to win, and that is size. In some ways, it's like Siakam's size going to help the Pacers hurts us because we don't have Siakam's size anymore. So we need to think about this front office. And in some ways, I know you got more trades in mind. Well, I'd like to see some bigger players come back to us at this point. I really would. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you, Fiercely Saul Sarah, Scotty Barnes, Twitch family, 2022. Nako saying, yeah, I was a little disappointed that we didn't get Jerace or Nebhard, but I think we're going to get some calls for Bruce, and I wouldn't mind holding on to him. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Bruce Brown. It's a huge question mark. In some ways, he may be a part of our future. He may not be. I have no idea. It's very weird. In some ways, I never expected us to have Bruce Brown on our team this year. I really didn't. G saying, Tibbs was asked how he knows OG can handle all those minutes, and he said he played in Toronto, laugh out loud. Yeah, these questions for OG are hilarious. In some ways, the interaction between Anunoby and the New York press has been very funny. And I think in some ways, the way that New York fans have learned to love him is very interesting because he is unapologetically just himself. And in some ways, he's a very strange person. And in New York, attitude's kind of weird. In some ways, it's not very cozy and friendly and nice. In some ways, it can be very aggressive, kind of like, hey, can't you see I'm walking here? Hey, New York people. In some ways, OG's not like that. He really did kind of have a vibe with Toronto more with like the friendliness, the niceness. And in some ways, his interview, I wonder sometimes like diehard, longtime Knicks fans that are really crazy and kind of like really hardcore New York people, if they're like, what is this guy? He seems a little soft. Like, what is this? And then they watch him play and they're like, holy crap, he's so good. Look what he's doing. That's what I feel like is happening with New York fans. They're like, his personality's weird. Like, I don't get him. There's something off about him. But boy, do I love his defense. Oh my gosh, he does such crazy defense. I feel like that's what's going on with OG right now. And in some ways, they've got to get acclimated to who he is and what he's all about and get to know him. And in some ways, he's quirky as hell. I love that interview. They're asking him, how do you feel about the long minutes that Thibodeau's been giving you? He's like, well, in Toronto, I played 53 minutes in a game once. It's like, it's not a big deal to OG. He is a machine. That's the one thing about both these guys that went to the Pacers and the Knicks. These guys can play minutes. Yeah, they can play minutes. Nick Nurse pressure tested them for a few years. And even Darko was using them pretty heavy this year too. So yeah, they can play some minutes. That's for sure. Fiercely saying, enjoy the game, Trevor. And thanks for representing and supporting the real ones. That's right. Hold it down and MSG infiltrate. Get in there, Trevor J, and help us win. We need to win this one. Come on, Trevor. Get it loud out there. Yeah, Monique saying 1 year, Stargate. I believe so. It's a player. It's a team option. So it's up to Masai and Bobby if they want to take it on that. They could just let him be a free agent and let him walk. So in some ways, there is an incentive for Bruce Brown to play very well for us. But Bobby Masai said, we're going to take your team option. And we'll keep you for next year for $23 million. Now, that's a lot of money. In some ways, you got to gauge that in the middle of all of it, too. Is $23 million worth what he's doing for us? And that's part of why he's got to go out there and show that he earns that. Gary's making less than that right now. And I would say he's not totally making his money right now. So, Bruce, you better earn that money if you really want to get your $23 million team option for your next year. Seriously, because that's up to the front office. That's not up to him. Stillman saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Brown has that championship DNA and is young vet. He could be real good on our team. We'll see what Masai decides, I guess. Yeah, I like that optimism. I like that for sure. Yeah. Kev, why are my comments get blocked? I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't see that, Kev. Did somebody block his comments? I only seen the one comment that you made. Yo, what's up, my guy? And that's it. If you got more comments, just write them in. I do have a 1 minute limit on this. So if you write something in real quick, you got to write them in every minute or so, just so people aren't spamming my chat. So that may be what you ran into, is that there's a 1 minute time limit between each of your comments. So just write them in as you get them, my buddy. And I'm not trying to block you out. I will try and block out Hartenstein later with Thad Young to get the rebound, but not right now. We're not trying to block you out, my man. So keep trying to write them in, and it's nothing you did. We're not mad at you. It's for everybody in the chat. There's a 1 minute time limit between comments, and it's just to cut down on spam. Really, that's what it is. Fun guy saying, laugh out loud. That's funny, G. But to be honest, Tibbs worse than Nick Nurse with minutes, from what I've heard from Knicks fans. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, I've heard that too in some ways. I mean, they're similar. I mean, both of them kind of scratch the very bottom of the barrel with putting their players out there for long, arduous games. Yeah, they're both similar. So in some ways, I don't know which is worse. Pick your poison, Nick Nurse or Tom Thibodeau, as far as running your guys all heavy minutes. So I think they're similar. I think they're very similar. Wayne saying, I watched the game too. He made his own points. Neesmith wasn't sharing the ball for sure. Listening to Masai, I think he got who he wanted. Listen to what he said. He knows Wara from age 5. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. In some ways, he's flexible and he's okay with different things. I'm sure the Pacers said no, and no to a few of the players that we actually probably came at them first to try and get. I know Nebhard was on that list for sure. Mathurin, probably, yeah. Gerace, probably, yeah. And that's part of the negotiation between the front offices. And we'll never know. We'll never know. Yeah, G saying, I see them. They're not blocked. Yeah, it's all good, man. We wouldn't do that to you, man. You're friendly, good Knicks fan friend, and we're cool with you. You and Milbester are our Knicks guys right now. And we have a couple of fans from every nation. Starscream comes in from Brooklyn Nation. We get Sixers fans here, or a random gamer, and a couple other people. And then, we got Angry Mexican holding it down for Charlotte Nation coming in sometimes. We've had Nuggets fan in here recently. So we do get different fan nations, and if we're respectful and friendly and we can talk basketball and be cool, we have no problem with people being here. So Kev, you're good, man. You're in, bro. You are in. Let's see. Fiercely saying, agreed at G. The Pacers defense was not it. Chemistry looked off, and I thought to myself, he is now Indiana Pacer. Yeah, it's crazy. He's one of the vets. He's one of the vets now on that team. Yeah. In some ways, Siakam's not a vocal vet. He's a vet that will do things on the court for leadership. And if they're expecting him to teach those youngsters in certain ways, well, they better watch him and learn from him by watching, because he's not going to be vocal. And that's one thing. Maybe there's other leaders that are more vocal, like Miles Turner. No, Halliburton, probably. Miles Turner is the elder statesman there. He's been there for like over 10 years. And in some ways, that is like the dude who's probably the most kind of like elder, kind of like, guys, shut up and listen to me. I've been here on Indiana for so long, and listen to me. So in some ways, the leadership in Indiana is okay. And Siakam's going to have to show these youngsters how he prepares, how he works and stuff. That's what they'll learn from him, is what he does on to be who he is what they'll learn. Yeah. Let's see. Wayne's saying, remember too, Brogdon was a former Pacer who was proven a point. He was the factor. Yeah. In some ways, he has a hit list. In some ways, he wanted to hit Toronto because of the bullshit with whatever happened with us. And then, he'll hit his old teams too. He does kind of have a revenge aspect to him. I've noticed that about him. He gets up and he will play in games that matter for something special like this. He played against the Pacers. He used to play for them. Yeah, he's going to go after them. Yeah. Fiercely saying, with us, he was in the same age bracket as Yak and Dennis, and there were 3 vets. But now I don't know their roster well enough to say there's older players on this new team. Well, Miles Turner is he's older than Siakam, actually. He's been around longer. So I don't know. I mean, every team's going to have their own little mix of different things and whatnot that they've got as far as ages. I think that the whole idea of trying to get all the same age is stupid anyway. I think that this whole idea is like, oh, they're not on the same timelines. It's the most made up bullshit in the world. Most teams in the NBA's history have had a range of rookies all the way up to almost about to retire players, always. And this whole idea of like, you got to get the guys around the same age to make it work is stupid. We could have kept OG and Pascal and kept them running with Scotty. It wasn't about their ages and how they interacted. It's so dumb. I really get annoyed with people that bring up the age differences and kind of make that a reason why certain people should be on teams and they shouldn't. It's just in the NBA, it's naturally going to be there's going to be a range of different people in their careers in different places on any given team. It's just naturally going to happen. And you're going to have to try and get all 23-year-olds? That's stupid. That is stupid. That is not the right way to build your team. And I really don't get the people that are online and in other places that harp on this all the time. It's like one of the dumbest theories of new basketball that I've heard in recent years. And I'm like, this is not a thing. This is like one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard. Oh, they're not on the same timelines. What the fuck does that mean? We're all on the same timeline. We're all on the same planet. We're living in the same era and the same timeline. I don't understand what the fuck you mean. They're not on the same timeline. Because Siakam's older than Barnes, he couldn't have fit with him. No, they could have fit still. It's the most ridiculous argument I ever hear in some ways. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. All right, let's see. I missed okay, here. This is where I'm at right here. I got to make sure I find where I'm at. Okay. Let's see. Fiercely saying at Race Mode Daily, why are Pacers fans complaining? Pascal performed very well on his first game with them. Their bench actually played like poop, although they were on a back-to-back. Yeah, that's the things that Carlisle was blaming, the back-to-back, and that they didn't have enough guys on their roster step up and play solid overall. They had a few guys that played really well, but overall they didn't have enough guys compared to the Blazers. Jeez, excuse me. Yeah, the Blazers have more guys contributing towards a win, and the Pacers didn't have enough guys on their team doing enough good stuff. And that was really part of the difference there. They're upset because they're worried about Siakam burning them. In some ways, they see all the love towards Toronto, and they worry about some of the rumors that Toronto fans are trying to say to them, well, he's going to circle back and sign back with us this summer. They're a little worried about that. And I mean, I wouldn't worry about that. If we were going to keep him, we would have just kept him and not let this happen. So don't worry about this, Pacers. First of all, he's not going to come back here because he's not really in our plans. That's very clear. And then second, I don't see him going to any other team. He picked y'all next. They basically said to him, Masai worked with him and his agent. People want to say Masai was a jerk to Pascal, but he wasn't. No, he could have traded him to all kinds of different teams, like the Pistons. And he traded him to the team he wanted to go to. I'm going to say this right now. Indiana Pacers, the second team that you want to be on in this league, other than the Raptors, which was number one, let's just say that, is the Pacers. And y'all don't need to be stressing out about him burning y'all this summer. He's going to come back. He's going to sign with y'all, and you're going to get him for years to come. So y'all get over yourself if you're upset about the Siakam trade. Y'all got a very good player, and he's going to make y'all very happy for years to come. So everybody's not on board totally with Siakam in Indiana Nation. Well, you need to, because he is going to stay with y'all. And don't worry about him burning y'all. He's not going to burn y'all. He's a very loyal, honorable person. And he's obvious that he wanted to go to Indiana if he had to go anywhere else other than Toronto. So don't worry about him going somewhere else. He's not going to come back here. I'm going to tell you that right now. He will not be coming back here. Monique saying, catch a bit of the game. Not all Pascal wearing his Raptor shoes. Some people were noting that. You know, in some ways, these guys have these shoes already. It could be that the shoes that they wear are lucky or they're doing really well. They get traded. The colors are still the other team. They still wear them. I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes. It's just how it goes. They're just shoes. The shoes are all different colors these days. Oh, I'm going to read into it that Gary Trent Jr. is wearing powder blue shoes when we go visit the Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, a little bit I will. But then again, it's also maybe he just has lucky powder blue shoes that he wants to wear today that will help him play. Yeah, Siakam's got Raptor colors in his shoes, and they may look like Raptor shoes for a while still until he gets more Pacer colors with his shoes. We're going to see that. Yeah. Kareem's here. Good to see Kareem Thomas, dunk champion of 2023. Raptor Free dunk champion. That's right. Kareem saying that bit you said yesterday about the release of serotonin and these new age fans that want instant gratification was fucking gold. Actually, you were on point with these new age fans. I need to clip it. Hey, you guys can clip me all you want. I want to tell y'all this channel, I'm not like some crazy copyright person. If you guys want to clip me and you want to make clips of me and put them in other places like Greg does on the Gubstown Clink, I love it. He had me at the end of his last clip doing the chef's kiss. Mwah! Mwah, Greg. Yeah, there you go. Chef's kiss. Gubstown Clink, baby. Yeah. Yeah. He might want to clip that too because I said his name in there. Chef's kiss. Gubstown Clink, baby. Yeah. No, I mean, seriously, if there's a little bit of anything I say, like I said something yesterday that when I rewatched it, I was like, holy crap, that just makes so much. That's like a beautiful statement. Like that should be a meme on Facebook. Like what I said. I don't remember exactly what it is, or I would re-quote it right now. But it was like, it came out of my mouth just naturally and like improv. And it was like, holy crap, that's deep, profound, and it's amazing in some ways. I don't remember what it was, but clip anything you want, Kareem. Especially, yeah, that whole thing about like the serotonin release from video games and little Candy Crush games that you play. Yeah, that's part of this whole thing with the trade stuff. These kids are Pac-Man. They need the power pellets more and more. They got to eat those power pellets or they don't feel right. Oh, I don't have my serotonin boost. Oh, why don't you make a trade, Raptors? Oh, I get a serotonin boost from feeling the new feelings of the newness. The package, you open the Easter egg, you get your gift box and your video game. You're playing Fallout Shelter and you get a capsule and you get a little pet dog. You know, shit like that. You're going, oh, I got a new puppy. He's going to help my healing when I go out into the wastelands and hunt for guns and fight zombies and dogs. Yeah, Fallout Shelter. I don't know who plays that, but I'm just saying that little Easter egg opening of something in video games is really a weird Pavlov's dog phenomena of manipulation through our devices. Very strange shit. And some people are like on that kind of shit in their life. They need those kind of things. It's kind of bling and everything like that. I need little things to make me feel happy to get the serotonin going naturally in my head. It's weird. People get serotonin from all kinds of different activities. But yeah, linking it to your devices and little rewards. Yeah, they start to condition people. Wayne saying Halliburton's rust was not a factor. They beat Sacramento the night before handily. Facts, freaks, facts. Indiana is a backwater American city. Pascal is going to experience a cultural wake-up call. Yeah, it's interesting. You're exactly right. In some ways, this is not Toronto, and that will be a little bit of culture shock. Now, as they were saying, the Indiana Pacers were asking Siakam in his interview last night, your brother lived in Indianapolis, right? He said, yeah, my brother did. He played for a team here in Indianapolis, so he knows the city kind of well, and he kind of helped me orient myself, telling me stories and telling me a little bit about the city coming in. So he has that at least, that one of his brothers was residing in Indianapolis for a while because of his athletic career. And, it's going to be very different. I think that's part of the reason why he wants to keep his place up here. Because in some ways, Indiana is not going to be the place where he's going to want to be in the offseason. Let's just put it that way. And in some ways, he's going to maybe, I don't know if he's going to be still allowed to come to OVO Center, but, who knows? It's going to be crazy. Now, I had a brilliant idea yesterday, and I think that they need to do this, and I'm going to reiterate it right now. When he comes back for Valentine's Day, you Raptors, MLSC, y'all need to make 43 shirts and put them in the seats in the whole entire lower bowl. Put them all over the building. I don't give a shit. Fill that whole building with 43 shirts because of what he said in his Players Tribune letter and the whole idea of him wanting to see the 43s. Well, why don't you guys make this happen for him? It would be a beautiful way to honor his time served and the things that he did for our franchise by putting shirts in the crowd seats before they arrive so that everybody has a chance to put a 43 on their themselves. That's, a lot of them will wear their own jerseys and bring the 43 themselves, but people that don't, they should have the shirts that say 43 on them themselves. And that's just an honoring of him after him leaving and saying hello and welcome back to a champion of our franchise, a very important part of our franchise. The least you could do, MLSE, is print the 43 shirts out and put them in the seats of the arena for that Pacers game on Valentine's Day. Do it. Don't even think twice. In some ways, this is the right thing to do. It's the right way to honor him, and he will be so touched. You read that letter. You understand how much it meant to him to see 43 jerseys in his early career. And in some ways, we want to honor him in the way that he loves. And that is, he's just told us his love language is wearing his 43. So don't drop the ball on this. MLSE, Masai Ujiri, Teresa Resch. Do this. Just make the shirts and put them in the seats so that people can wear them and honor him properly when he comes back. I just say that's the best thing to do right there. Right there. Fiercely saying Bruce Brown, one of the bigs at 6'4", crazy. I guess Darko is experimenting. I'm here for it. As long as he adjusts if it doesn't work. Yeah, I'm not totally comfortable with it. I'm really not. But I'm willing to continue to explore and development what we're doing right now. And if Bruce Brown is some sort of weird, crazy anomaly as a player in the NBA, well, so be it. Let's see more of it. Let's see what's going on. A Cowboy wants a three-pointer for Kareem Thomas. All right, we can do that. We can do that for sure. We can do that. Yeah. All right, let's see. Three-pointer. Holy crap, 21. Kareem, you're at 21 now. Yikes. He's already running away. Nako's saying, I'm sure Bruce wants to win, but I think he wants to get paid for his job before wanting to be somewhere specific. I would say this. He's won a championship. In some ways, he's got that on his list. It may not be as necessary for him to go to a contender like everybody's speculating. Now, the teams may want him because of his championship experience and the things that he's done in recent years with the Denver Nuggets. But in some ways, he may not be himself like, I just need to go to Boston Celtics or this team or whatever team to try and win a championship right now. In some ways, he may be interested and intrigued about the Toronto situation. In some ways, he may be like looking over at Scotty Barnes to be like, this guy really seems like something special about him. And there's something about him. I don't know. I got to get to know Bruce Brown Jr. better. And then maybe I'll understand his psyche and the way he thinks a little bit better. But right now, it's hard to read him totally because we just learning to see him. So I have to see. Kev's saying, I'm loving that OG trade. Yeah, you guys should. Your defense got better. You guys are winning better. I think it's true that you guys are closer to Philadelphia and Boston now. And I want y'all to be better, to kick their ass. It's kind of like in a fight, in a war. The one soldier got wounded. And he's hurt, and he's on the ground. And he turns to the soldier that's still standing on his feet, and he says, go get those motherfuckers. That's what I'm saying to you as a Raptors fan, to the Knicks fan right now. Go get those motherfuckers and beat their ass. And I mean the Sixers and the Celtics. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about right now. You got my back. I got yours when it comes to the Celtics and the Sixers, Knicks Nation. Yeah, I got your back on them. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I say the same thing to the Pacers Nation. Go get it. Go beat their asses. Beat the Sixers. Beat the Celtics. Get that championship, Halliburton, and the Pacers Nation. In some ways, I won't say that for the Knicks. But you know what? If you guys won, I wouldn't be that upset. I wouldn't. It's been a long time. You guys haven't won since the 70s. But I know y'all are going to be out of pocket talking shit if y'all do win, New York fans. If I know anything about y'all, once you get something good happening to y'all get really, really annoying. But if you guys get some success, I will be so happy for y'all, especially if you're putting out the Celtics and the Sixers. That's what I would say right there, Kev Rodriguez. There you go. Cowboy saying, OG is the fucking man, Kev. That's right. And thank you for RJ and Skipley. That's right. He is. Kev saying, yes, he is. That's right. The alliance is strong. The Survivor alliance is strong. New York, Toronto, that is alliance. Just like on Survivor, a reality TV show with Jeff Probst. That's right. We're going to vote out the Celtics and the Sixers. Survivor, 45. Raptors, Knicks against the rest of the league. Wow. No, seriously, I know this isn't our year. So why wouldn't I root for people like Fred VanVleet and Houston Rockets, Pascal Siakam, Indiana Pacers, OG, Anunoby, New York Knicks. That's right. I have a rooting interest in my beloved great Raptors going to other teams and playing on new teams. I want to see them succeed. I want to see them get the shine and the accolades that they deserved up here, but they didn't get in the shadows. Yeah, OG better be all defensive team this year. Pascal better be an all-star now. He may be all NBA now because he's on the Indiana all of a sudden. Yeah, I want to see these guys succeed. I'm not a hater like that. I've seen these guys play their asses off for the Toronto Raptors, win championship, and do so much for us. I'm not a hater like that. I hate some people that leave this team. Yeah, they leave the wrong way, Vince Carter. But some people, they leave the right way. They're a hero in my heart for the rest of my life. And that's how I got it for Siakam, Anunoby, Van Vliet, Lowry, DeRozan, Valanciunas. Yeah, all those guys. I wish them well, even though they're on other teams that aren't my team anymore. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Fun guy saying, I'm sorry, but Scotty would cook OG. That was always OG's kryptonite, defending for us. Big, aggressive muscle forwards like Zion and Randall. Scotty is what is that, but can do like everything. OG's going to have a long night. I know. This is going to be fun tonight, fun guy. Fun guy knows about fun. I agree. I mean, I totally am picking Scott in this matchup too. Scotty, when he answered that question, he's like smiling. He's like, oh, no, he's not going to stop me. Listen, OG, you try and bring the clamps to Scotty Wayne Barnes tonight. I don't know if you can, man. That guy is too strong, too quick, and too fast. He's a nightmare for you in some ways. Like, you can guard most people in this league, but I don't know if you can guard your old teammate. That's the crazy thing. That is going to be the battle right there. That's going to be like a big prize fight. OG versus Scotty. Can OG stop Scotty Barnes? Oh, my gosh. We get to watch that tonight, y'all. Isn't that amazing? That's amazing. In some ways, I didn't want to ever see it, but now that I get to see it, I'm a little excited about it. Yeah. Duke saying, hope the refs let them play tonight. No ticky-tack fouls and make your threes, boys. In some ways, I wish they would call more fouls. I feel like the trend these days, Duke, is they're not calling fouls. There's a lot of swallowing the whistle, as they so to speak. No fouls. I'm not going to call anything. In fact, the game with Zach Zarba that ref early, I guess is the last game against the Bulls, or maybe it was the Miami game, the game that Zach Zarba ref for us this week. They were lazy. They weren't calling shit. I felt like they were asleep out there. I was like, holy crap, they're letting travels go by. They're letting this go by. There were all kinds of plays they missed. It's like they were asleep. They weren't even calling shit. It's like they didn't want to call anything. They weren't even calling like basic like referee calls. They were just letting them play. I was like, well, are they in a rec court where there's no refs and they're just playing? Are the refs even here tonight? Because they ain't calling nothing. It's crazy. So in some ways, the problem isn't necessarily the refs calling ticky-tack fouls. Sure, that's going to happen to us sometimes. Yeah, there's going to be ticky-tack touch fouls. And I know what you're talking about. And I hate those too, Jason. The problem is that they won't call fouls when Scotty goes to the lane and OG and Hartenstein hammer him. That is what I want to see more of. They need to be calling the fouls for Scott when he's going to the basket and he's initiating contact like all these other superstars in the league. He needs to get those calls. He needs to get those calls. And in some ways, he's not getting them in the respect that he deserves. Well, he's going to get it eventually. And he'll keep doing it over and over again until fuckers like Ed Malloy start respecting him and putting him on the line the way he should be. That's the issue I have. And yes, make your threes, boys. It's a big difference night and day. Making your threes on Wednesday, not making your threes on Monday, and not making your threes on Thursday. Yeah, you make your threes on Wednesday, you see what happens. You don't make your threes on Monday and Thursday, well, you see what happens too. And that's important this week. Yeah, big game tonight, Click. Big game tonight, original Raptor Free Click. That's right. Fun guy saying, so are y'all saying I shouldn't have quit the ganja yesterday, but rather quit after the Knicks game? Oh, no problem. Okay, no problem. Listen, if you want to do your little scene with Robert Stack and Airplane, I picked the wrong day to quit glue. You go ahead, fun guy. I picked the wrong day to quit ganja because I got to watch the Knicks and the Raptors tonight. Yeah, that's funny. I love that part with Lloyd Bridges and Robert Stack and Airplane. And he's in Control Tower. He's like, I picked the wrong day to quit meth. Ugh. I quit the wrong day to pick the wrong day to quit Tide Pods. Ugh. I picked the wrong day to quit ganja. All right, let's see. Wayne saying Masai's point was the biggest free agents this summer are Raptors or former Raptors. Very interesting. Chev states it's hell and fire if any player doubles back after being traded. NBA would kill us. You know, once again, listen, Masai saying that stuff is different than what y'all think. First of all, he's saying that because he's proud of them. That what he's saying is that he's made really good players that are going to make the most money this summer. He's not saying that he's going to get these players. He's saying that his organization, his acumen was the one who targeted these players and made them into who they are. And that's what he's proud of. It's not him saying that he wants to get these players. He's saying that he's proud of what he's built and that these guys are a symbol of what he's built. That the top 6 free agents this summer, 5 of them are former Raptors that had to do with our team at some point to make them make this big boku money. And that's what he's saying. I think people misinterpret that saying and saying, oh, he's going to go get them back. I think you're right. If we did go and circle back and somehow Siakam was back on our team next year, the NBA would be pissed. I know the Pacers would be pissed. That's for damn sure. But I don't know if that's actually legitimately going to happen. Now, it could, I guess. But why wouldn't we do it where we had more rights with him and we could spend less on him or something like that? Why would we circle around and do this? I don't know. Trust in Masai. Maybe there is some legal reasons or money reasons. Maybe it's something like with the max and things. And I don't know. But in some ways, I don't see these guys circling back. I think that's the folly of some of the Raptors content makers right now is they want to believe this pipe dream. But it's ridiculous, honestly. OG's company is CAA. CAA is New York at this point. And he's staying in New York. He's not going to circle back and re-sign with us. Some people are trying to say, that'd be so funny if he comes back and he burns the Knicks this summer. No, he's not going to do that. His representation is the New York Knicks. So he's obviously re-signing with them this summer. Julius Randle ain't, though. I'll bet you Randle will be gone from the Knicks very soon because he's not CAA. He was, but he left. That's a sign right there. Knicks fans, if you want to know what's going on with your team, just check who's a CAA client. It'll tell you exactly who's coming and going. You got to look at that. And I know you're going to be looking, wow, Donovan Mitchell's a CAA client. Yeah, you're damn right. It is probably going to happen. I'll bet you y'all will get Donovan Mitchell in the next 2 years, partly because he's CAA. Now, with Siakam, it doesn't make any sense for us to trade him and then try and get him back this summer. So that I don't get these whole theories. As a content creator of Raptors stuff, I'm not going to make content about these guys circling back and coming back to us because I don't see it. I don't see it. Now, I see more likely we get DeMar DeRozan to come back this offseason and say, hey, DeMar, you want to come back? I don't know if it makes sense with anything. It doesn't make sense with timelines once again. It doesn't make sense with the structure of our team and what we're trying to do. I don't think that makes any sense. Somebody's trying to say we get Lowry back this week. I don't know. Maybe. I would say we get Lowry back, but that's only if the price is right. And I don't know if it'll be right. That's the one thing I know about Lowry. He's about making that money. And in some ways, he don't want to take a pay cut to come to Toronto. Maybe he does. I don't think so, though. I don't think so. It's interesting, though. This summer is going to be interesting. What's going to happen is we're going to have money to spend, and we're going to be looking at those free agents. And I don't think we're going to get somebody we used to have. I think we're going to get somebody completely different. Somebody totally new that's never worn a Raptors jersey is who we're going to get. Yeah. Fun guy saying, words of an addict. Words of an addict. Yeah. Start again. Get on that ganja. Yeah. Get that cannabis. Click saying, where's that guy that told me Pascal wasn't getting traded? Listen, I said it. A lot of people said it, Click. This isn't a time for you to come get receipts on that. Some of us could have been right. We could have been right. It could have been right, but it didn't work out. Masai probably busted his ass to try and make him stay as best as he could, and he couldn't make it happen. Is the thing with the ownership, is the thing with this, the money, the ideas and the plans around Scott. They fit. There's not a problem between playing Pascal next to Scott. That's not the issue. In some ways, it's the issue for flexibility this summer that has opened things up. I bet you Masai tried his damnedest to give Pascal what he wanted, and that's to stay in Toronto. But he couldn't in the end, and he had to have that tough conversation with him in LA recently, telling him, you know what, it is really looking like I'm going to have to trade you, man. I tried really hard to make it work where you could be a future Raptor going forward still. But unfortunately, it's just what we got to do. It's the smartest thing for us as a business decision. And so, Click, you don't come back here and try and get receipts from people for this. All right. A lot of people had opinions on this. There's a lot of different people that were hoping he was going to stay. I was one of them. You want the receipt from me? I told you maybe Pascal wasn't getting traded. Does that make you feel better? Does that make you feel better? Oh, yeah, he got traded. Yeah, you want to get all happy about that? It's a sad thing. In some ways, don't come around getting your kudos from something that's sad that has to do with the Raptors, is what I would say. Kareem saying Quickly versus Brunson, OG versus Scotty. This game has classic written all over it. In some ways, this is the game that should be on TNT. This is the game that should be on national television down there. If y'all were smart, this is high emotion, good basketball. NBA, you put it on blast, put it on national coverage in the States today. Even if the Raptors don't play well and we lose, I don't care. Just put them on. It's dramatic. It's good stuff. Fiercely saying Westbrook was traded to the Jazz but never showed up. Went to the Clippers, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong. I don't understand this comment and why it's coming out of the blue. Westbrook. Okay, you're trying to talk about Bruce Brown. Is that what it is? I think we're missing a couple of things in this. Yeah, Westbrook was traded to Jazz, but he never actually went there, and he waited and got traded again. Yeah, I remember that. But that was in the offseason, I believe. Kareem saying alley-oop to Neon Moon. All right, you want me to give an alley-oop to Bradley? I will give an alley-oop to Bradley, the Canadian Cowboy. Number 5 of the year, Manuel Quickly. Let's see. Bruce has got a team option next year. That's right. It's up to the team. Kev saying Scotty versus OG is going to be good to see. Mitch is just hurt at the moment. Yeah, Mitchell Robinson is a great center. He's one of the players on your team I like a lot. And it's been a shame that he's been out. But Hartenstein's done a good, admirable job filling in. But you'd like to have that depth and have Robinson back, especially in time for the playoffs. Yeah, you're going to want him. You're going to want him to be there, Kev. That's for sure. Duke saying Bruce Brown can be traded, but can't be attached with other players. I'm hoping he's part of our future plan. Knicks are interested in him. They'll get a close look tonight. Yeah, who knows? That could be part of it. Maybe tonight there's some things that come about with more transactions because of scouting and looking at players. Yeah, I've heard the reports that New York is very interested in Bruce Brown. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. In some ways, we're in a flexible position with all kinds of different directions we can go in as the Raptors, except for one thing. We're going forward with Scotty. That's for damn sure. Let's see. Wayne saying, heard it here first. Bruce Brown will empower us into the play-in. He's the glue he did with the Nets along with the Durant and the same with the Nuggets. He's no superstar. He's a competent basketball player. I love hearing that scouting report by Wayne. I love that prediction. I hope it comes true. I'll be okay with that. I want our guys to get more games that matter at the end of the year because that experience is invaluable. You can ask Kate Cunningham. He ain't sniffed the playoffs yet in his career. And Scotty's been around the playoffs. He's been in the playoffs and he's been in the play-in. Well, we want to see Scotty get more experience like that. That's important for his development and getting in longer. Yeah, I kept saying, no doubt, bro. No doubt. Yeah, that's right. You got my back. I got yours. Tonight, we play each other, gentleman's game. And otherwise, hey, I'm looking out for y'all. Yeah, I know you listen, you're looking out for your guys too. You like Quickly. I can tell, Kev. You like Quickly. And you want to see Quickly succeed as he goes forward also. Just like we want to see OG go forward and succeed also. Yeah. Fun guy saying, Lex, that would be absolutely crazy if Bruce isn't traded. He's basically got 2 years, and what you could get back for $22 million is beautiful with picks too. He's needed for a contender. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Once again, in some ways, I'm not going to speculate or put my own designs on what's going to happen. I'm just going to let the front office do their job. And whatever they decide with Bruce Brown, well, that is a huge question mark. This may be the biggest question mark about our team right now is Bruce Brown Jr. and what is happening with him, whether he's getting traded or he is a part of our designs for the future. Very, very interesting. Dark Knight saying, which power forward center should the Raps target? We had 3 names that were bandied around in the chat earlier this week, and they were Nicholas Claxton, who's in the next one. G saying it. Claxton is a free agent this offseason. Daniel Gafford of the Wizards was the other one. And then the third one was Kelly Olynyk of the Utah Jazz. Those 3 players are players that I fully certify and check off and say, yeah, I'd love for them to be in Raptors uniforms. And I think that they would help us with the sadness of the news about Koloko this week. We are going to need another center because it really sucks that our plan with that guy, he had really promising things coming with Christian Koloko, and now it's just gone. So in some ways, this is what happens. I mean, Koloko is actually a really good example for Raptors Nation and fans to understand that you can't be perfect as a GM. That it's just absolutely impossible. There's always going to be some sort of extraneous events that may come in and they just make it chaos. Or this is like, wow, we had this all planned for this, and now this unfortunate thing has happened with him. That's what I'm saying. Can you blame Masai and Bobby for drafting Koloko and doing what they did with him the last couple of years? No, because it was brilliant. He was an amazing piece. And if this is all worked out, they would look awesome. But no, it's not going to work out. He's gone. He's waived. And that's what I'm saying. The success and failures of front office is not necessarily just on their own acumen and their decisions and choices that they make. There's extraneous factors that can determine whether somebody's a bust or a fail or a success. And that's what I'm saying. That's why everybody expects our front office to be perfect, to get everything right. You are ridiculous. How can anyone control everything in their own life, all the factors and everything around them? No, they can't. So why the fuck do you expect Masai and Bobby to be perfect? They're going to have mistakes, but oh boy, do they have grand slam home runs too. Boy, do they ever. And Koloko is a lesson for Raptors fans to understand that this is not an easy job, that you can do it perfect. You can get this perfect draft pick, this backup center, and he's a perfect fit for things that we're going to do in the future, and it goes away like that. That is a great example of what I'm talking about, how hard that job is right there. Yeah, Claxton. I'm all about Nicholas Claxton. I am. Gafford? Oh, yeah. And why not another Canadian player coming back? Kelly Olynyk? He would love to play with. I know he's not on the timeline. He's an older player. Whatever. Who cares? He's grizzled. He has a lot of know-how. And he could play with Scotty and RJ. I'll bet you he could. I'll bet you he could. Yeah. All right. Let's see what Fun Guy's saying here. Jumped ahead. Let me make sure I get it. Bruce isn't for us. We need certain things, not him. He's more for a contending team as a perfect role player. What we will get for him will be beautiful. Just watch. $22 million worth in a trade is no joke. I love what you're saying, Fun Guy, and I'm open to it. One of the things you'll find about my channel is I'm not trying to have preconceived notions about what Masai and Bobby should do. I just sit back and watch them and just kind of like, wow, I want to see what they do next. This is going to be fun. In some ways, I don't want to put any designs on what I want them to do, but when they do it, then I'll react to it. I think that's a big difference. And some people in this fan nation, they want to tell them what to do. And if they don't do exactly what they think, they get mad at them like little babies. It's like, why are you getting so upset? But they didn't do what they wanted them to do. I wanted them to draft Jalen Suggs. Oh, little baby. Poor little baby. Oh, no, just let these men do their job. I love this analogy I'm using lately. Have y'all been to the moon? No, you have not. You've not flown up to the moon like Neil Armstrong. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. No, you ain't never been up the moon. You've never driven on that moon rover. You don't know the hazards of being on the moon's surface. The moon is basically being a GM in the NBA. And Masai Ujiri's been on the moon. That's the difference. Y'all don't know what being on the moon is like. You have no idea. So how the hell are you going to tell him how to survive on the moon when you've never been on the moon yourself? Is what I'll say every single time when it comes to GM critiquing or talking about the GM job or why didn't you do this at this time with Siakam instead? You know, all this kind of bullshit. You don't live on the moon. Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster live on the moon, and they know what the moon terrain is like. They knew what the temperature is. They know how much oxygen they have. And y'all don't know the parameters out there. You do not know. They don't tell you. They don't tell you. Their secret life on the moon is something you should never know about because that's the inner workings of our franchise and the front office and what they're doing. And all the stuff they do on the moon, you will never know because you will never go to the moon like them. None of y'all are going to be GMs in the NBA. None of y'all on Twitter, Facebook, saying all your out-of-pocket opinions about this is how we got to do this and this. None of y'all will ever be on the moon. None of y'all. If one of y'all do it, at some point say, hey, Lex, I'm on the moon. I'm the GM of the Utah Jazz now. Oh, shit. You proved me wrong. All right, I'll give you your kudos. One guy out of a million. got a GM job. If one of y'all do it, you go ahead, come back and tell me you made it to the moon. But none of y'all are on the moon. So don't tell them how to drive that lunar rover and avoid the pitfalls and the lasers of the aliens. Yeah, you don't know what it's up there. That's right. You play Moon Patrol all you want in the 80s as a kid. And get ready. I'm going to be on the moon. I'm going to be a GM in the NBA someday. Play Moon Patrol. Bounce that little car. Bang, bang, bang. Shoot it. Yeah. It doesn't matter. You don't know how to do a GM job. Is my whole point right here. I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of that moon one. I think it's so good. All right, let's see. Kev's saying that Claxton with the Raptors would be scary. Ooh, I like it. I'd love to see him in that jersey. I really would. He's got an attitude. Like when we play him sometimes, you probably know this too, Knicks Nation. He is sometimes got a real edge to him. Like he's angry at someone. Nicholas Claxton acts like he's angry at someone sometimes. It's interesting. Kareem's saying we should put Pascal's logo, the P and the S that form a heart, on T-shirts for his return in Scotiabank, considering it's Valentine's Day. That would be the best homecoming ever. And yes, this number 43 as well. Yeah, one on each side. I'm all about that. In some ways, we want to put the 43 on the front, maybe, I don't know, or the symbol on the back. We just want them to see the 43. In some ways, the 43 is more important than the Pascal symbol. I mean, it'd be nice, too, because this is one of the weird things about Siakam that nobody really realized. Now, Cool Cat will probably verify this. You can't get his Pascal shirts. Have you ever wanted one of his PS heart logo shirts? Do you know where to get one? You can't. It's almost weird. It's almost like Pascal just has his own line of shirts that he only gets. He can wear all the different colored versions of the PS symbol on his shirt, but have you ever seen anybody else wearing them? No. You can't buy them. He could have been making all this money off of his merchandise. But I don't know. I don't ever see anyone wearing a PS43 shirt with a symbol. And it's been weird to me. I'm like, what are you doing, Siakam? I guess he doesn't care. In some ways, he could have made a ton of money off of Raptors fans selling PS shirts, but he didn't. Do you know anyone who has one of those shirts? Does Cool Cat have one of those shirts? I bet you she doesn't. And we know she's number one Pascal fan. That's the crazy thing to me. In some ways, I don't know if he can make that money now at this point because now he's gone. In some ways, yeah, maybe they'll sell him in Indiana. He'll do all right down there. I don't know. He could probably sell him up here still too. G saying apparently the Raptors will have 34 million in cap space this offseason. Yeah. That's a lot of space. Siakam cleared a whole bunch of stuff. And OG, yeah, there's a lot of things clearing up. We got some flexibility. Nako saying need a good rotational bench forward and a first for Bruce. Yeah, rotational bench forward or a center. Can we get a center? I don't care if he's a starting center. I want him to be just a serviceable, good rotational center. Fun guy saying exactly, Nako. Only objective in Bruce trade should be forwards and centers. Yeah, and a pick or two. Yeah. I'm all about what you guys are saying here. I'm with you. Cowboy saying, bless you, Lex. All right, bless you, Cowboy. Bless you back. Kareem saying, Lex caught the heebie-jeebies. Yeah, I thank you. Oh, that was for the sneeze. I have a little bit of allergies, and sometimes I'll get sneezing fits. It's actually really lucky I haven't gotten many of them on the stream. There's usually at least 2 or 3 times a day where I'm like, hudju, and it's like 5 minutes straight. So that was like the first time it's ever happened on here. You call it heebie-jeebies. Fiercely saying OG wore black and white shoes a lot, a particular pair. I paid attention because they reminded me of Mambo shoes. Mambo dance genre. Not Mamba, not Black Mamba, not Kobe. No, Mambo. Mambo number 5. A little bit of Monica in my life. A little bit of Jessica will be right. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The Mambo number 5. Lou Vega. Yeah. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. I think it was Ed Rogers' pocket that we end up releasing OG and Pascal. Halliburton 23, Scotty 22. Pacers coach revealed they wanted both Pascal and OG for years. Oh, yeah, we knew this. That there's no leaks with the Raptors, but there's leaks all over the league. And, yeah, they've made it very well known over the years that they wanted OG. We knew they wanted OG. I mean, Indiana connections there. And, oh, yeah, we knew they wanted Siakam. It's not like I know everybody wanted Siakam. Kings, Blazers, Hawks, Pacers. These are all teams that want to Siakam. Apparently, the Sixers wanted him too. In some ways, that may have been part of the reason why the Blazers wanted to kick the shit out of the Pacers last night. Oh, you got Siakam in the end. Motherfuckers, we were trying to get Siakam all last summer. You motherfuckers got Siakam. We're going to beat your ass. That could be part of it with the Blazers last night beating the Pacers. It's like, you got Siakam, you motherfuckers. We wanted to get Siakam. They all wanted him. And that's what a lot of people are saying right now. That the things that happen with Siakam and Anunoby are tied to Ed Rodgers tightening up the purse strings and saying, you know what? That could, like I said, it could be Masai saying, I want to really keep these guys and go forward with them. I think they'll be good. You can't have them all. I'm sorry, Masai. You cannot have them all. You cannot. We will not pay for all of these guys. We're not going to go in the luxury tax if your team is not above 500. We cannot do this. A lot of it is the winning and them justifying being able to spend money on how well the team's doing. So it's a weird kind of chicken before the egg kind of thing. It's almost like the team has got to get out of the mud and play really well to justify the spending to keep guys like that. And in some ways, they didn't do it. They failed this season. Whether it's the schedule makers, whether it's the ref hit jobs, whether it's just a bad timing of things with Jakob's injury, that kind of shit led to where we're at right now. In some ways, if the guys that came in the season and kicked so much ass and won, these guys wouldn't have been traded. I'll tell you that right now. Masai may have been able to come to Ed Rodgers and say, look what they're doing. How can we trade them? The future is bright. We're going to win. You're going to make money. No, but it's not that case. We've lost. And in some ways, that's a big reason why these changes have happened. And when Scotty said we're trying to keep it together, that's part of what he meant. That's part of what he meant. Let's see. Randolph's here. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks. Most informative gang on this game day. I need for our boys to put a smackdown on the Knicks. We can do it playing a complete game. Yeah. Play real smart. Play tight. Less turnovers. Look for those transition opportunities. Out-rebound them. If y'all can out-rebound the Knicks, we can win. That's a big, huge, huge, huge part of it. You got to out-rebound them. We got to play good defense. We got to play smart and play together. And if these new guys can get better and better with us, Bruce Brown, Nwara, that'd be great. That would be great. So great. Duke's saying Halliburton didn't play in the Sacramento game. Yeah, I know. He came back last night for the first game. Wayne's saying, I love that shirt idea. I will repeat it. I want to see a video production in Scotiabank Arena at the start of the game and also the intermission. Thanks, Duke. I saw Halliburton being interviewed there. Yeah, I think that, listen, I don't think you can go overboard in celebrating Siakam. Just do it. Just do it. In some ways, we may have dropped the ball with how things were handled with DeMar leaving and like honoring him correctly in some ways. Let's not do that with Siakam. Lowry got the great welcome back finally after a long time. He finally came back and played, and I was there, and that was a beautiful, amazing thing. When Fred comes back in February, that's going to be a huge thing too. When OG comes back, when he plays against us in Toronto, that should be an important hero's welcome too. Some of these have not gone right because of the pandemic. Serge Ibaka had a weird comeback game. Marc Gasol never got one. It's stuff like that. We need to make sure they get good comeback games where people really show them love. Really, really show them love. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, I'm happy that Pascal has made Toronto his home. Toronto, I think he has Canadian residency. Hence, he is keeping his house and keeping his foundation in Toronto. Made me happy we still have him. Yeah, it's very clear. Out of everybody, I was sure that letter meant a lot to you, Cool Cat. The letter that he wrote was beautiful. It's just perfect. And it really, really encapsulated the realness and the real relationship he has with our city. It's not breakable. And it's something that we will have forever with him. Seriously. In some ways, he understands Toronto is his city, and it always will be. Now, he plays for the Pacers now, and he will be very good for them. And he'll do a good job for those guys and play very professionally. But in a lot of ways, his heart is still here in a lot of ways. Cool Cat's saying, Raptors fans versus Knicks fans tonight both want to win while liking some of the opponent's players. Pacers plan to give Pascal 5 years at $247 million. The Knicks plan to give OG 30 to 40 per year. Yeah, these guys are going to get paid. They're going to get paid, and not by Ed Rodgers. Watch. Wayne's saying, yep, you're right on the Masai issue. There's no coming back on those guys. Those doors are closed. That was Chev's point. It's not happening. Yeah. Retaining them and keeping them within house with the perks and the birds' rights and all that stuff, it's gone. It's gone at this point. There's a lot of leverage and leeway that, how much you can pay them, how much you can compete with other teams that are trying to sign them this summer. That all went out the window, all those advantages for the Raptors once they got traded. So, yeah, they're not coming back. If they were going to be here, they were going to just stay, and that's it. They wouldn't have gotten traded. So, yeah, Raptors fans, stop being delusional and thinking that these guys are boomerangs and they just got tossed in the Australian outback and they're going to come right back into your hand. No, that's not happening. It's not happening. That's not a knife. That's a knife. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, what an emotional roller coaster this week was. Our players were traded to great teams and will earn big contracts. Masai put them in great position to succeed as well. I'm happy with Masai helping them in their future careers. 10, 7, 43, 15 jerseys are reserved. Fuck 15. 15 is not reserved. That number is not reserved. 10, 7, and 43 and 23. Those are reserved. 15 is not reserved. Amir Johnson wore that for a long time after fuckface Vince Carter did. No, 15 is not reserved, man. It never was. It has not been ever. If 15 can be worn today. If Bruce Brown wanted to wear 15, he could wear 15. He can't wear 23. He can't wear 7. He can't wear 10. And he can't wear 43. But he can wear 15. He can wear 15. Yeah, that's just the damn truth. Wayne's saying, Wayne is saying that I am anxious to see Precious and Flynn. I want to see them produce how they produce for us. Duke, I believe that story. They hate Messiah and every success associated with them. Yeah, whatever. They can't hide the truth. We see Messiah's successes. Everybody understands it. They can act like it's not real, but reality is there, and we can see it. I'm interested to see Precious and Malachi tonight also. You said you want to see them produce how they produced for us. Yeah, I know what you mean when you say that, Wayne. It's hilarious. I listen, I want to see Precious do well. I don't care about Malachi. Malachi can fuck off. But Precious is somebody I care about. Somebody I'd like to still get reclaimed as a better talent, getting better and better in this league. In some ways, I worry about him that he's not going to get anywhere. He's just spinning his wheels. But there's a lot of promise with Precious that can still happen. And in some ways, I don't know if I want to see it with the Knicks, but I do want to see it for Precious himself as an individual. I like him a lot. And I don't like how the Knicks Nation's turned on him already. In some ways, I want him to be successful so they lay off of him as a person. Yeah. Dark Knight saying, is anyone going to games for the remainder of the season? I am. Yeah. I'm going to be at the Fred VanVleet return game. I've got tickets for that one. I could see possibly myself being at the Valentine's game too, just because of how special it is. So there's going to be 2 games in February I probably will be at. I don't know. Adriana's not probably listening to me right now. But knowing her and knowing how things are and knowing that, we're in a relationship, she probably will want to go to that Valentine's game for Valentine's Day with us. So I could see that. We probably will be at the Indiana game also. I know we're already going to the Houston one. Those are the only 2 games. That's the only game I have tickets for. But I'm going to tell you right now, we're probably going to Valentine's. Yeah. Let's see. Fun Guy saying, I don't like Claxton. He's weird. I like that he's got edge. I like that he's really long. And I like his defense. There's a lot of good things about him, Fun Guy. I mean, you don't have to like him as a person if he's kicking ass for the Raptors. Fun Guy saying, like he's got loose screws. I prefer Gafford or Olynyk. Well, it's noted. In some ways, I would prefer Olynyk out of the 3 of them, even though he's the oldest. Once again, that connection, having more Canadians on our team, the work that he's already done with Barrett on Team Canada is valuable. And that's why if I had my choice, even though he's the older one, he's probably not long for this league for much longer. In some ways, I'd like to see Olynyk come back here. In some ways, if I'm choosing between Gafford and Claxton, I'd probably pick Claxton. Although Gafford's not bad either. Not at all. Jimmy's laughing at Fun Guy. Olynyk would be cool. It'd be cool. It'd be real cool. In some ways, I don't know if he likes Toronto, though. He's been really anti-Toronto when he was on the Heat. He was a goon. But in some ways, I think Team Canada stuff has made him, I don't know. He's hard to read. I'll bet you, I don't know if Kelly would want to play for Toronto. That's part of it, too, in a weird way. He's a West Coast Canadian guy. And I don't know if y'all realize there's an East and West kind of versus thing in Canada. And Olynyk, he left Toronto and went to the West Coast and became a West Coast mentality guy. And he's not necessarily East Coast Toronto or East Coast Canada kind of person anymore. And I don't know. I think he'd come here and he'd be very happy and it'd be fun for him. I mean, he's from Toronto originally, but in some cases, I don't totally understand if he would come here. I don't know. It'd be interesting. Let's see. Wayne's saying, I listened to Messiah. He emphasized patience and winning. Bruce Brown answers both now. Losing too much the rest of the season is not good. Yeah, I don't want to lose a whole bunch going out of the season, but we're going to be what we're going to be. And it may be part of the design to keep our draft pick from the Spurs because we're not that bad. And maybe part of the design that, we may not win anyway, whether we're trying to or not. It could very well be that we have trouble winning with our current addition of our roster right now until we make some of the moves this summer. So we got to be ready for anything. We could be ready for them to be very good and win, sure. But we got to be ready for them to struggle and not win as much as and lose way more. So just be ready for anything. I think if anybody has any kind of like things that they want for the team to happen, just get over yourself. Just let them be what they're going to be. And don't have any kind of like preconceived notions about they should be. How about that? Yeah. I think that they're going to try and win, like honestly and earnestly, but they may not. They just may not add up to it. Stargate saying Claxton, Olenek, or Gafford we can work with. Yeah, you like that list too. Dark Knight saying good stuff. Keep it up, Lex. You're welcome, Dark Knight. I appreciate you, man. Every single morning, 9:30 a.m. And I'll be back tomorrow to react to the 2 games today, and we'll talk about it all tomorrow after aftermath. That's right. Duke saying Bruce Brown could be OG light. He very light, very light. He does have a high IQ basketball mind. Why trade him unless the return is huge? Yeah, I think that's exactly the mindset right there, Duke. Is Masai maybe considering keeping him? But he has the flexibility to turn him around. And, that $22 million, as you guys are saying, you can get a lot for that. So it's very, very interesting, good idea, Duke. I agree. Stargate saying, I don't want no more picks unless it's attached to a serviceable player. We can use preferably a power forward or a center. Yeah, I don't think getting more picks is the direction he's going. He kind of said that. He said, don't expect us to use all these picks we just got from Indiana. He's going to trade some of them. He's either going to trade them all together and to get one pick and make like 3 picks into one pick, or he's going to trade them to get a player. And I could see that. He's not big on this draft. So why would he have 4 draft picks going into this draft? He's going to move them. He's more likely to move the picks than Bruce Brown, if you ask me. How about that? Kareem saying, if Pacers don't make a serious run in the playoffs, would it be wise for them to give Siakam almost the max? Oh, this is another old question that is very good and very smart question. And this is something they're probably thinking about too. They got to see what their ceiling is. And then they got to figure out, because they're going to hamstring their salary cap if they're going to invest in Siakam long term. They definitely are. And they got to realize whether this is enough to win or is a smart investment. This is what Charles Barkley said. Masai's a smart GM because he doesn't invest in big money on mediocre players. In some ways, that's a slight to our guys. But in some ways, you got to think about this. That's an undrafted player. That's a player from New Mexico State that came from nowhere. And in some ways, it's like his ceiling. How much higher is it? And how much do you want to pay more than what he's getting paid right now? I mean, I love those guys. I'm glad they're going to get paid. But in a lot of ways, I'm glad they're not going to get paid by us, is what I'm saying. And that's part of what Charles was saying. It's like, yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to see. The Pacers will have to make tough decisions still. It's not all just set up for them. They're going to have to see how they do. I think they're going to be successful, and they're going to be all right. They may need another defensive player still, though. They may need one more big to help shore up that line with Siakam and Turner, because they really didn't have anybody other than Turner until just now. It's crazy. Mo's saying, hit the like button and subscribe for the best Raptor Freak family crew. There you go, Monique. I love your endorsement, and always so happy to see you here in the chat in the morning. Let's see. Space Cadet saying, he who shall not be named, suddenly cheering on Pascal in Indiana and saying he's a Pascal fan after completely trashing him for years as a Raptor. Man, fuck that guy. That is crazy. I'm telling you, there's a lot of gaslighting in this world at this point. And if that isn't the epitome of it also right there, holy crap. He wanted what he wanted. He got him gone. And now he's talking him up. Wow. What a disgusting, despicable person. Oh, man, I can't stand that guy. I cannot stand that guy. Space Cadet, thanks for the update, even though I can't stand that this guy exists in this world. Let's see. BCG is here. Okay, it's MSJ. All right, here we go. All right, let me see what okay, so you have a new name. You don't have to come in as a new name. You could just come in as your regular name. Hi all, MSJ here. So I talked to Mo and Flex. You didn't start the MSJ as a racist stuff. I'd come back if it's okay with everyone here. I was super pissed at what happened yesterday. Very upset. Listen, I never insinuated that you're racist. In fact, didn't even bring up anybody's race in this other than Colocos in that. I was not trying to paint you in that way. I was just coming at it from my background in academics. Listen, Chris, I don't think you're racist. I don't think you're misogynist. I just was trying to point out that what you were trying to point out about Christian's situation is not necessary. And in some ways, I don't want to have that conversation. It's a very hot topic conversation that can be testy. It's something that's controversial in some ways, what you were saying. Now, I won't deny that you're probably right. And what you were saying is truthful. That's not what the issue is here. In some ways, you're bringing in a controversial subject that's not necessary for this channel, and I don't want to get off the rails with it. Does that make sense? That's really what it is. It's not what you said. It's not necessarily that you're wrong. It's just that I don't want to go down that route, especially in that situation with Christian. Is the focus is on the young man and him, in his health and his well-being. It's not about whether he's a black guy from Africa and he got blood clots because he's in cold Canada. This is not something we need to speculate on and go further with. That was my whole point. Basically, I was telling you to drop it and that it wasn't a necessary thing to add to the conversation. That's all. I'm sorry that you were upset. I stand by what I said. I was trying to not bring race into this because I don't feel like it's important to Coloco's story. That's all I was trying to say. You guys let me know either way. You're welcome. You were never banned. I've never banned you. You made the decision that you didn't want to be around me anymore, and that's on you. But I love you, man. You can be here as much as you want. It's up to you. This is the same for everybody. It's not like this is mandatory. If you guys don't show up, I'll be sad, sure. But in some ways also, I'm not going to compromise how I do this channel and pussyfoot around just to make sure everybody likes me. That's not what I'm doing here. I got to be unapologetically 100% me. And I know with my strong opinions, my politics, and a lot of things, I'm going to rub people the wrong way. And in some ways, I was only being myself in that situation with what you said. And that's who I am in that response. I didn't want to make it about race. I never, ever said whether you were a black or white person yourself. I've never said anything about that kind of stuff. And I've never said that you were racist straight up. I don't think you're a racist. I've met you in person. I think you're a really nice, amazing person. And if I made that connotation, well, that's not what was intended. It was just that I didn't like the introduction of the race factor in the Coloco story. I just didn't feel like it was necessary. That's all I was trying to say yesterday. That's all. You are welcome here always, Chris. Seriously, unless you do something like Alan Tam. Then you maybe not. If it was the same, salute freaks. He who shall not be named did a huge hit piece on Pascal. Letters saying we're being conned. I call him a certified asshole, respectfully. You guys do that. If you're going to interact with him, you go ahead and tell him off. Yeah, you let him know. Yeah. See, Fun Guy's saying, huh? Nobody thinks you're a racist, MSJ. What you said is probably medically very true. That black people have a higher proclivity to get blood clots for whatever reason. It's just that it didn't pertain to what we were trying to do with what we're talking about with Coloco. The news is Coloco has blood clots and his career may be over. We don't need to add on the extra stuff and put all that in there. In some ways, it's like, I could say this as a white man, Chris, it's dangerous for you in some ways to go in these kind of directions because it may seem like you're racist by bringing this up. And as a friend of yours who knows that you're not, part of what I was trying to say to you is like, don't go here because some people may interpret you as being either racist or a eugenics kind of person. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. I know you're not like that. I'm glad you circled back and we could talk about this again today. In some ways, I was like, man, if I don't see Chris again, I'm going to be sad. So I'm glad you're here. Let's just put it that way. And in some ways, Cool Cat's saying Pascal's personal clothing line is for his personal use. Yeah, see, Cool Cat's telling us right here. He promoted Canadian and Native artists' clothing. Pascal is not as money-centered as people think. PS43 is personal to him. See, that's what I'm saying. You don't think that Cool Cat would love to have one of those shirts? I would love to have one of those shirts. It'd be really special if we could all get those shirts on Valentine's Day, but I don't know if that will happen. In some ways, the MLSE should give a big donation to PS43 and say, can we use your logo for our shirts just for this one time? And we'll give all the money to your foundation. I would do that. I would do that, MLSE. What a great tribute. And also giving towards something that he gave so much towards. Yeah. I mean, I love what you said, Cool Cat, that this isn't him trying to make money off of shirts. He just made them for his own style and his own logo to wear for himself. And in some ways, that is so crazy, amazing. In some ways, he's driven up the want for the shirts because you can't have them. It's just like everything in this world. You tell somebody you can't have that. I want it now more. It's like you can't have Pascal's shirt. It's crazy. Trevor's saying, we all decided to go to the game in Houston between the Raptors and the Rockets. You're going to go to that game too? So you're going to be in Houston for the game against the Rockets when the Raptors go there. That's awesome. Let's see. Chris is also saying, a childhood friend of mine has sickle cell, and the whole Coloco thing shook me. And then I hear I'm racist for being concerned. I have zero time for that kind of crap on my name. Maybe I was confused. Well, maybe you heard what I just said, and that elaborates things. Man, if you have an emotional response to it, well, this is going to be part of it too. I think I have an emotional response to it too, also, truthfully. I think that the sadness about the situation with Christian Coloco is really disappointing to Raptors fans in general. People like Cowboy really love him, and they were expecting so much big out of him that I think we're all a little emotional, not just from Siakam, but from the disappointment about what's happened with Christian. And that, listen, you have a personal tie to this whole thing. I get it. It may be even more emotional and difficult for you. Chris, we want to be here for you as a Raptor Creek family and not against you. We're not trying to paint you with any kind of racist picture. It's just, in some ways, I was trying to protect you from that by saying, Chris, you say this kind of stuff, it could be interpreted by some people as maybe being that way. And it's not anything that's you're a wrong or bad person. It's just that sometimes I know for myself, I have blind spots. I may say stuff on this channel that is, whoa, Lex, that's a huge blind spot. That's not okay. I want y'all to call me on it. Like, if I know I deal with race, I deal with politics, I deal with all kinds of things on this channel all the time. And if I say something that's out of pocket as a white middle-aged man, I want y'all to call me on it. Seriously. I want y'all to say, Lex, you can't say shit like that because that's not right. Because I have blind spots just like everybody else. And that's just the whole thing I was just trying to say. I don't know if you had a blind spot about how it sounded or it came off. And that's all I was trying to tell you, Chris, as a friend. As a friend. I was trying to do it gently. And then Jill came in and she just fucking ripped the scab off and just started going on and on about it. I was like, Jillian, shut up. We don't need to talk about this with Chris any further. You're continuing the conversation later, and we had already figured this out. And I didn't want to pick on you or make it worse and worse. And in some ways, Jill's just a shit disturber with kind of the way she operates. And I get that. That's, in some ways, I have to accept her for being that also. So that's what I'll say right there. Cowboy's saying, it's all good, MSJ. I think I say a misunderstanding. Not sure. Yeah, it was just a little bit of misunderstanding. Chris, we're family, bro. You're a mug brother. You and Bradley, we have experiences and times together. And listen, I don't want you to turn your back on us. I will work with you, man. I don't want to paint you in a bad light. I never, ever do. But also at the same time, I'm going to be myself. And in some ways, I'm coming off of no filter. As soon as I read something on here, I'm getting my gut reaction, immediate reaction to it. And I'm not getting a chance to edit y'all's comments or see what's happening. You're going to get my raw response. I can't be that smart to read it, analyze it, and respond to it and filter it. It's just too much. So it's just raw. This is a raw channel. We do things raw here. And you guys are going to come at me with comments. Well, you give me some curveballs sometimes. You really do. Let's see. Cream saying, what about scarves? I'm going to wear my scarf and make my room my office today. And I just promoted my son to chief technology officer. I guess I should go shave because I'm team smooth. I'm repping OG tonight. There you go. Look, Kareem, there's going to be a little bit of turncoat on the Raptor Freak family tonight because he's going team OG, team smooth. He's made his house into an office just like OG did in the Staples commercial. Kareem, it's just too easy. Damn it, Kareem. Listen, I know, what, in some ways you're kind of like becoming like one of these golden boy superstars in the league that you're just expecting the foul now. I think you are. I'm going to give you one dunk, but that was really awesome. Really awesome comment. In some ways, you are. You're like a Jason Tatum or a Embiid getting to the line. He knows technically that's going to get him points. He knows technically that's going to get him points. He's definitely working the system like a superstar would. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, I have tickets for the Fred VanVleet return game. Pascal return game tickets are now overinflated. I will have to spend a lot of money now. MLSE gouging us, and I will have to close my eyes and pay a crazy price. I don't even know if it's them. I think it's the ticket resellers. They control a lot of this upselling. They look at it and they try and gauge the market. They set their prices. So I don't know. I wouldn't blame MLSE. I'd say that they put the prices out there. These tickets have already been sold. And now that this has happened, they've gone up in value. So people are putting them out at a higher value at this point. I think that's what it is. Cowboy saying, Kareem, dap to you. Cowboy also. Your son's a chieftain. A chieftain. Oh, that's crazy. All right, that is crazy. All right, fun stuff. All right, let's see. Mo's retracted. Duke is retracted. Chris is retracted. Firebolt's here. Good morning to Firebolt. Holding it down on Atlantic Coast, Canada. For us, Carla, good morning to you. Always happy to see you. Good morning, Lex and Rabbit Free family. It really hurt to see Pascal with Indiana across his chest last night. Wishing the best for him, though. Yeah, it hurt me, too. It was weird. It didn't look natural. It looked awkward. It was weird, but I really have faith that the Indiana family is going to welcome him right and take care of him right. In some ways, it's something like sending your kid to college. You're like, yeah, well, he's off on his own now. He's going to go and live his life. He's going to go to keg parties and do keg stands and shotguns. Oh, wait, he doesn't like shotguns. That's right. He did a beer shotgun in Cancun with Jakob once, and he hated it. So he never did it again. I guess I won't have to worry about him having an alcohol problem in college in Indiana. No, he won't. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. We sent our guys off to college. You got OG going to university in New York, and Pascal's now in Indiana. It's crazy. It doesn't look right, Firebolt, does it? No, it doesn't. Milbester's here. All right, number one. Yeah, Milbester, our Knicks guy. Let's see. Well, Lex, we made it. Raptors versus Knicks tonight. We got one more game against you guys in Toronto. It will be a crazy game seeing RJ and IQ at MSG with our fans and OG Achua. Flynn after the trade. This is going to be fun. Kev Rodriguez was already in here representing y'all's nation. Now we got our second Knicks fan in here. Well wishing. The alliance is strong. We're going to go out there, have a good time. Nobody get hurt. Want nobody getting hurt on the court tonight. No injuries at all whatsoever for either team. We want Ed Malloy to call this game fair. It's disrespectful to the Knicks if they call this game in their favor because they want to win on their own merits. They do not need your hand holding, Ed Malloy. So you better just call it right down the line. The Knicks do not want to be cheated of getting a victory solidly over us without the help of hand-holding from you, Ed Malloy. So get over your cocky-ass self with your running with your arms like this. Fuck you, Ed Malloy. You better not be a factor tonight. You let these two teams play a gentleman's game against each other fairly, with fair rules, with fair foul calls, and don't try and mess with it because you sully the integrity of the game when you do not call it consistently on both ends of the court, Ed Malloy. So you do that, and you let the best team win. And if the Knicks win on their own merits against the Raptors tonight, do not sully them and take it away from them by helping them and cheating, is what I'll say, Ed Malloy. Yeah, there you go. Milbester, respect. May the best team win. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, Evelyn saying hello. Hello, Granny Swag. We love you. Cowboy saying, I'm not sure what happened. Don't worry about what happened, Bradley. You know how it is on this channel. There's opinions. People have strong opinions. There's misunderstandings. I'm cantankerous. I'm hard to deal with in some ways. I really am hard to deal with in some ways. You can ask Adriana. So listen, it's all good. I love Chris. Chris is cool with me. We're good. That's all that matters. That's all. Milbester saying, but what I will say is that there is one problem the Knicks are doing to OG, and this is Tibbs' fault. He's hardly getting rest during games. He's playing too many minutes. He will get gassed by the playoffs. Yeah, this is something y'all going to have to watch. Maybe he'll get some rest games by the end of the year. Maybe he can cut down his minutes at some point. Maybe you get a Robinson back, and that'll help OG's minutes go down. There's going to be a couple things like this. This was an issue with Nick. And we said this earlier, that in some ways, Nick Nurse and Tim Thibodeau are the same kind of person as far as overplaying their starters. And, in some ways, this is going to be a part of it. But, OG's up for it. He's a badass. Now, you do have to worry. OG can be injury prone, and he can go out for a little bit of time from time to time in his career. He will. So, in some ways, it is a very risky thing, Thibodeau doing what he's doing, and he needs to be careful. And I agree with you, man. I think that if he could limit him a little bit better, that'd be smart. Maybe tonight. Maybe he only plays him 10 minutes tonight. Do that tonight, Thibodeau. Just play OG 10 minutes, and that's it. Don't play him anymore. Just tonight. Cowboy saying, good morning, Granny Swag. Yeah. Chris is saying, I got you, Lex. I was coming at it from a personal aspect. Sorry if I came out of nowhere. My friend made it to 46 with blood clots. So, yeah, rest in peace. Moving on. Listen, Chris, I feel condolences and bad about your personal story with your friend. That's awful. I mean, often a lot of this stuff is just a miscommunication or a misunderstanding. I don't want to paint you in any kind of picture. Listen, I know the incident before with us that happened with the WNBA stuff was something where it could have been something like that. That was never my intention on there. Now, a lot of things is it's not the person. It's the ideas sometimes that are promoted that I'm judging. And sometimes I know y'all bring stuff to me and you may have a personal investment in it that I'm not aware of, like what you're saying with your personal experience. And I need to be more respectful of that and understand that. So in a meeting in the middle, I will say that. I want to be more understanding of you guys and what possibly could be the reasons why you feel so strongly about certain things. But also at the same time, if I'm saying don't go there, let's not go there, I'm like, there's probably a good reason why. There's probably a reason why. Love you, man. And moving on. Exactly. And seriously, man, everything's good. Everything's good. You were never bad with me. You wanted to make the decision to cut me out. That's your choice at any time. But in some ways, I'm going to exist and do what I do no matter what. And this door is always open. I don't hold a grudge, especially if you're in good standing. Like Tom Duke, I'm not mad at him because he's not here. I love Tom. And I hope Tom will come back. But it's not up to me. I can't control him. And maybe someday he'll show up and be a regular on this channel again. But I can't control this. So I'm not going to get all bent out of shape if you guys leave and say, I'm not never going to speak to Raptors Freak again. I can't be that way. I can't worry about that. I got to do what I do. And the people that are right to stick around will. And the people that aren't won't. And I'm glad you are one of those people who will stick around still, Chris. I really am. I really, really am. Let's see. Thanks, Bradley. Cowboy and Stargate saying, MSJ, I didn't think your comment was racist, and I'm probably the most sensitive to things on here. See, I didn't think it was racist either, but I was worried that it might go in that direction. And in some ways, I just thought it was just extra, and it didn't need to be involved in the whole conversation about Koloko. But I needed to be aware of Chris having a personal experience that's related to something like Koloko's, and that is part of why he was coming at it in the way he was coming at it. And I'm glad we've all cleared the air and we have figured it out. That's the important thing right there. Yeah. Let's see. Milbester saying blood clots are bad. You can get strokes and heart attacks from blood clots. For athletes, any person is bad. It's reversible, but whoever that guy is has to resolve that. That's our backup center from Arizona, defensive player of the year, Pac-10, 7'1" Christian Koloko, who's supposed to be our future center, Milbester. Yeah, he's done. We got to wipe him off the books. In some ways, it's like we had plans. That was our dude. Now we have our other center whose ankle's out. We have no centers. We had two centers, and both of them, one of them's just waived because of blood clots, and the other one has an ankle twisted, and he's not available. So we've been in trouble. Yeah, Vucevic killed us in the Bulls game on Thursday night, and that's a big, big problem right there. Yeah. Yeah, Chris is saying, okay, thanks very much for saying that, Stargate. See, I don't think anybody really thought that. It's just I could see it where it was going. And I was like, I want to avoid this, especially for my friend Chris, because I know he's not like that. And I don't want other people to maybe interpret it a little bit like how I was starting to interpret it. In some ways, when you start, once again, I'm just a little bring it up. When you marry race to medical outcomes, you have to be very sensitive. There's a history of really bad medical studies from Nazi Germany and weird eugenics shit. And in some ways, you have to be really sensitive when you're dealing with race, with medical issues. And that was my whole point. And that really, like I said, it came from my background in grad school in studying mortality and death outcomes. I did a whole paper on the differences in mortality for Hispanic groups in the United States. And the study that I found, Cuban people live longer than Mexican people. And a lot of that is with the different things. But in my study, there was no specific people talked about. And there was all like a collection of people, and you looked at the stats overall. And that's part of what I was trying to say yesterday. But that wasn't even that important at all, really. Let's see. Monica's saying, I am going to the Raptors versus Pacers. Obviously, yeah, you will be there on Valentine's Day. Yes, she will be. That's for sure. That is for sure. Stargate saying, I can't understand how people actually follow and listen to an individual like he who shall not be named. Bunch of weirdos. Yeah, I don't get it either. It's weird. I mean, it is whatever. I mean, we've been successful in not talking about him very much this year. I've been very happy about that. We talked a lot about him last year, and it pissed me off. I mean, I don't mind touching base and hearing like the stupid shit that's coming from his channel, just so I know what the antithesis of me is saying. But in some ways, I'm so glad that we very rarely bring him up here. It's very good. Evelyn's saying, we love you, Chris. That's right. See, Granny Swag loves you. We love you. We've seen you. You come to 2 meet and greets, and we know you, man. Evelyn's been there both times. Yeah. And he's saying, well, love you all as well. Let's move on. That's right. That's right. This is great stuff for a learning experience for everybody, man. I learned from it too. I really do. Country Kong saying, good morning, Raptors Freaks. Lex, I'd love to keep Bruce, but Woj says the Knicks and Lakers are interested. The Knicks can only offer OG or Fournier and picks. Lakers can only offer a D'Lo. Bring OG home. Why the fuck would we do that though, Country Kong? What is this whole roundabout thing like to get to this point? Why don't you just walk straight there, family circus? You're gonna walk all over the neighborhood, go up and over ladders and over the fence, go look at the lady's pie on the windowsill, go play with a dog in the street, go run around the corner. When you were walking to one place and it's right across the street, you see the little trail, the family circus comic I'm talking about. Why the hell would we do that, Country Kong? If we could just walk across the street and keep OG, why did we go through all this? Why did we make New York fall in love with him just to trade and get him back? Is this what we're doing? Is this what we're doing, Country Kong? We're doing some sort of weird thing to them. Is this like Love Island? Yeah, you think you're with me, darling, but wait until you see that I'm in love with one of the other contestants, and I'm going to stab you in the back. This is some weird thing where it's like OG's like, yeah, you're traded. You just got traded for Bruce Brown. You're back on the Raptors. That would be so weird. That would be so weird, Country Kong. That would be so weird. I don't know if we want Evan Fournier. I don't know. Maybe we should be talking to the Lakers more than the Knicks on this one. I mean, we got the players from the Knicks we wanted, right? Right at this point. Most saying W stream, Lex. Keep at it always. Good times. Good times. Go Raptors. Let's try and keep climbing. Yes. If we're going to be a submarine this year and go trolling around in the deep sea depths of the below 500, and we're not going to be a plane flying in the sky, well, let's go Jacques Cousteau then. Let's see if we can get to a higher depth out of the water. We're down there near those weird looking fish that don't look like they belong on this planet, that have all kinds of weird, crazy eyes and weird droopy things coming up. That's where we are right now. I mean, Detroit's even further down, but we're kind of down near there in some ways. In some ways, I want to come up a little bit higher, submerge, emerge, come back up with the submarine. We're too far down, Mo. You're right. Keep climbing. Keep climbing. Cool Cat saying Pacers rolled out the red carpet and welcoming Pascal to the team. They even asked the fans to vote for him an all-star. Halliburton and Pascal have a great relationship, too, in development teams. It's really neat. Now, one of the things I thought about this morning, and this makes sense, Siakam has a possibility to still get postseason awards. In some ways, his chances just went up because he went to the Pacers. Pacers are more high profile. Pacers are going to be probably a playoff team. So in some ways, Siakam's chances to get some of the accolades that may put him in a higher bracket for max money is more possible because he's on the Pacers now than the Raptors. You know, in some ways, we get that discount. In some ways, he's going to get a plus going there. And if he plays at a very high level for the Pacers for the rest of the season, don't be surprised if Siakam makes all NBA. Seriously, I could see that. In some ways, it'll be very helpful to him. In some ways, this is some of the stuff that Cool Cat was talking about before the trade. I was like, I don't want to talk about this now. He's still with us. But she said, it'll be great when Siakam goes to another team and he gets all the awards he's supposed to get. And well, now I can say that with you, Cool Cat, because it's real. And I am actually happy about that. Because in some ways he deserves the accolades, and in some ways he didn't get them right up here. He got them, but he didn't get the weight and the amount that he should have, just like OG with defensive stuff. So if these two guys end up on postseason awards because of their new teams, I'm happy about that too. I am. Let's see. Fiercely saying W stream Lex, and it's let's win against the Knicks tonight, fam. It's gonna be good. Yeah, let's beat the Knicks. Let's go into MSG. Scotty, you could be like OG and Pascal. Maybe it's time for you to have your big game in the Garden. Yeah, Pascal got 50 in the Garden once. OG had an amazing game in the Garden earlier this season. Well, maybe it's your time to go get a big number in the MSG, the Mecca, the most important building in the NBA. Seriously, I said that. It's true. And I'd like to see him on the biggest stage. Go do that tonight, Scotty. You start your legend even more. Yeah. Chris is saying, so if Flynn scores more than 10, I'm going to get pissed. Laugh out loud. Yeah, Flynn does anything tonight. All right, this is an interesting storyline that Chris brought up, and I didn't even really think about. What if there is a Malachi Flynn revenge game tonight? What a crazy subplot that would be if there is actually a Malachi Flynn revenge night. In some ways, if he cooks us tonight and he does something, I'll be like, yeah, fuck him. Fuck you, Eric Flynn. Fuck you, Malachi Flynn. Fuck with you bullshit. And now you're going to do this now against us in a revenge game. In some ways, I can't hate because I'll laugh at it because it'll be so ridiculous. Because I'll be like, all right, he could do this tonight, but he'll never have a game like this for the rest of the season. He'll do it to us tonight, and that is it. That would be so crazy if that happens. That would be so crazy. Cool Cat saying Coloco's health situation is a heartbreaker. It really, really is. It's a blow to our team. It really is. In some ways, we had a lot of eggs in his basket for things in the future that we were hoping he could come through for us. And now it's for not. It sucks. It sucks. And it's like a total write-off. You don't get anything for this. People get mad. You let Fred walk for nothing. Can you get mad at the front office for a malady like this for Coloco? No, you can't. Did they have any control over this? You think they wanted this? You could get mad about this? Life happens. Circumstances happen. And like Masai said in his press conference, in the NBA today, things happen quickly. And you have to be really quick and up to date because things are happening fast around the league. They really are. In some ways, it's happening really fast with all the different things you got to consider with trades, trade rumors, different things with teams and how they're going up and down. Milbester's saying that the Siakam trade pretty much tanked the Raptors into a rebuild again. I don't like you saying that. The 2019 championship team is gone. I don't like you saying that either. There's only one player left from that team. The rest are gone. It's crazy. Yeah, Milbester, would you believe me if I told you that Adam Silver wanted to dismantle the Toronto Raptors championship team as soon as possible? That he was successful in taking two pieces from it every single year as after we won it? Kawhi and Danny right away. Ooh, he had to make sure that Leonard would not be here for sure. Not on the Raptors. He can't be here. That means they're going to probably win again. And we can't have them be a dynasty. We can't have them win multiple championships and a repeat. That's Toronto. We can't have that. No, you can't go there, Kawhi. We're going to entice you. You got to go to see Bomber. Norman, Kyle, Serge, Mark. Yeah, they all left over the years, the 5 years since. And the last major piece, Siakam just left. Boucher, he's a champion. It is what it is. In some ways, I don't like the fact that so many people have been dancing on the grave of our championship team. It's annoying. In some ways, y'all didn't celebrate enough, but now you're going to celebrate the end of people being on our team like this? Yeah, it just shows how much haters we have. It just shows how much people disrespected the Toronto Raptors championship this whole time. In some ways, I wish y'all would understand just how special and crazy and amazing that we did that. We pulled that shit off. Seriously. In some ways, yeah. Milbester, I don't know what our team's trying to do right now. I will say that, we're not using the term rebuild. It's a retool. Even Masai said, I don't call this a rebuild. In some ways, the work that RJ and Emmanuel did with you guys already, it transfers over. And in some ways, that what they're doing with the level of what they're trying to do with winning is it transfers here to us. And that RJ is going to remember all the lessons he learned in the blue and the orange, and he will transfer them to the black and the red. And that's part of it. Scotty's learned a whole bunch of stuff in his careers already, and that's what it is. We're on the timeline of Scott. And what I will say to you, Milbester, if you think this is going to be a long-term rebuild, I don't think so. You can look at the progress that Scotty Barnes has made as a player this year, and it will show you the rate of how quickly the Raptors could possibly become an important team again. that it's on Scott. If Scott's going to progress this quickly this year, I don't see why the Raptors fans should be worried or upset that this rebuild's going to happen for a while, a retool. It's not going to happen for a long period. It's going to happen quickly. It's going to happen fast because it's on Scotty Barnes' schedule. And this dude is like growing and becoming a better player night after night. Like it's not even week by week. It's night after night. He's leveling up. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. Cool Cat saying, guys, Lex is correct in trying to be careful about race sensitivities. Trust him. He's always has the best intentions. Yeah. It really is like I just didn't see that it was necessary to bring up for this, but Chris did because of his friend. And I you know what, in some ways his perspective is valid also. In both ways. But yeah, in some ways I'm really just trying to look out. And Cool Cat, I appreciate you. Fun guy saying Milbester, maybe not so because we have some quality players. A little tweak and we could be OKC 1 year ago. Yeah. I don't think this is like we're not like Detroit. We're not like Washington. We're not like Charlotte. We have a lot of good stuff. In fact, Masai said we got the main player, the main important piece, the hardest thing to find. And that is a Scotty Barnes. And in some ways, that puts us on a fast track to getting there because we're not waiting for that big, huge one piece to come in and be the add-on to get us there. No, we have that part already. And we're adding all this stuff around him. So in some ways, that makes it faster because we're not waiting for the big guy to come in like a Giannis or a LeBron. He's already here. And he's already got a couple years experience under his belt. And that's a big part of it right there. Fun guy. Good comment. Cool Cat saying, we Raptors fans are so funny. On Twitter last night, I saw trade machines to get Pascal and OG back. It was funny and made me happy just at the thought. Our community has the best humor, I swear. We can be really funny when we're not inundated with the toxicness too. Yeah, the part of Siakam's letter was really sad when he acknowledged the bubble awful toxicness. But that's the thing. Around that time, before that, Raptors Twitter was very funny, very witty, very smart, very ingenious. There were a lot of things that were said on it, and it had a personality, and it was fun. It was more lighthearted. It was more positive. At some point, Raptors Twitter became very toxic, very cynical, very snide, very negative. And I wish that Raptors Twitter could go back to the old way it used to be. I feel like Raptors Twitter has morphed into an ugly monster when it could have been like a really funny, witty thing like Cool Cat's describing here, the way it used to be. We remember how you used to be, Raptors Twitter. And we're sad that you've grown into some sort of old, angry man, angry old person or something. I don't know what's going on with y'all. You're crazy or just out of pocket and immature. Let's see. Wayne's saying we're not in any way far off the pace for positions 8 through 10. I want to extend our season for as long as possible. Battle tests are the best reps. These guys have pride that are left. Yeah, we're not playing to lose. We're going to be playing to try and win every game still. And, this is the thing. We are not that far out of it. It really is. We're in a weird kind of in between where we could just hang around down low and get the top 6 pick from the Spurs back. But also that, the Nets are not that far ahead of us. In fact, us losing to the Bulls was annoying because we would have passed the Nets in the standings if we had beaten them. Now, the Nets won last night against the Lakers, which was kind of crazy. But I am paying attention to where Brooklyn is right now because I'd like to see the Raptors not sit at the bottom of the Atlantic Division for much longer. And the Nets are right there within arm's reach. And if we can get a couple more games, that's always fun. There's little kind of challenges for the team. It's like, look, may not win the Atlantic Division. We may not be winning the NBA championship this year, but let's beat the Nets at least in the standings by the end of the year. That kind of stuff is smart in some ways. Now people will say, no, that's not smart. We need as many teams above us so we keep our pick, Lex. I'm not playing that way. I'm not playing with that mindset, and neither is Masai. He doesn't value this draft at all, even though he just got a whole bunch of draft picks in it. He really doesn't. You can tell. Fun guy saying apparently OG could just fire his agent and re-sign with Masai. That's maybe why he barely gave a goodbye letter to Raptors. OG doesn't care. We don't like the Knicks anyway, so we could screw them. Fun guy, that's not what's going to happen. He did have a goodbye letter to us. He did do all that goodbye stuff already. You get what you get from OG. Yeah, he had a goodbye post. He had a bunch of stuff already. He said goodbye. Stargate saying if the Lakers throw in Rui Hashimura, well, then maybe Bruce Brown going that way. Okay, you like that. Fun guy saying that's been Rob's talking point. Sounds so dumb, but you never know. Is that what he's trying to say? He's trying to say that they're going to circle back. Yeah, he's an idiot. He's an idiot. He's so dumb. Like, I wish that somebody would keep track of our predictions and how we prognosticate on our different channels. And I wish we could see our win percentages on that. I'll bet you I kill him. I bet you I've got like a Pat Riley winning percentage for when he coached. And he's probably got like a Gene Littles or some shit. Yeah, I brought up Gene Littles, Charlotte Hornets coach from like way back. Yeah, I'll bet you his percentage looks like a Gene Littles winning coach percentage, and I've got like a Pat Riley prediction winning coach percentage. That'd be hilarious. If there any way of keeping track of this going forward or any of that stuff, it'd be hilarious if we cool see these stats. Cool Cat saying, I hope fans realize what I've been saying. Pascal is a big brother to Scotty and has been mentoring him. They were very close and personal. OG is Scott's best friend, and Precious is his hangout buddy in Toronto. Yeah, I don't know how much Scotty's actually hanging out with Precious. I know that they have connections from Montverde, but so does RJ. RJ's a Montverde guy too. I always felt like Precious and Scotty were cool with each other, but in some ways they really did see each other as very much competition. And in some ways, Scott is happy that Precious is not on this team. I'll bet you. I don't think they were as close as you think they are. And then as far as like the stuff with Pascal, I'm sure that's absolutely true. And the stuff with OG, I think that's true too. But I don't think the Precious stuff is true. I don't think Scotty hung out with any of the Raptors in Toronto, hardly. I think he really kind of did his own thing with his own friends and kind of did like his own thing just in general. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see like how he bonds with the new guys. I think that there's already a natural kind of bonding with RJ and Emmanuel going on. Bruce Brown seems like him and they have good synergy already too. So in some ways, it's also interesting to be there longer than the other people. You know, Chris is the elder statesman of our team right now. He's been on the team the longest, but Scotty is like second. Him, and then Gary, you know, Thad. Those guys have been on the team the most now. Those four. And Scotty's one of the longer standing Raptors at this point. And that means something. That means something because in some ways he's like, you know, Siakam was here much longer than him. Well, he's not here anymore. Now Scotty's more of like one of the longer term Raptors. And that means something in leadership and just in like the whole thing. I've been here longer than you. I know Toronto more than you in some ways. Stargate saying, remember, we have two ex-Knicks who may have revenge game as well, Lex. Yeah. Yeah. I want to see RJ. Yeah. 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 In some ways, that's a storyline we should bring up right now. RJ Barrett returning to MSG, all of the scrutiny, all of the microscope, all of the critiques. And in some ways, he might want to show something from with his new team coming in there for Knicks fans, certain Knicks fans that were not very nice to him, maybe very overly critical. Well, RJ's want to come in there and show he can shoot a high percentage and play at a high level. And I'm sure he wants to beat his old team, if not just for trash talking with some of his friends that play on that team too. Stargate saying, isn't Paul George a free agent this offseason? I don't know. He's not somebody I'm that interested in some ways. He definitely isn't on the timeline with Scott. And I've never been a big Paul George fan. He's just somebody that I get he's good. I get that he's something, but I've always kind of sullied him and I thought he was always overrated. Let's just put it that way. I know he's a good defender and I know he's a pretty good shooter and scorer, but he's not somebody I've ever valued. And in some ways, I don't want to see him come here. I don't. I mean, if that's what you're suggesting. Cool Cat saying, Pascal identified those negative statements as trolls and credited fans to help him overcome it. Raptors fans created the Pascal Love Project and sent him a package from loving fans that he loved. That's what I'm saying. That's why we do this, what we're doing here, because we're a part of that network. We're part of the positive fans, the ones that love and support Siakam, and give him that love and support when others are being nasty, racist, and trolls. That is a big part of why we're important. In some ways in this world, there's a lot of negative people out there pushing negativity, and there's not enough people standing up and pushing positivity. Because in some ways, people weren't encouraged to do the positivity. It's like, oh, I'll just let them be them. But no, in some ways, we need to combat the negativity with loud and outrageous positivity coming at them too. Because the positive stuff can be quiet in the past, but now we need the positive stuff to step forward because to counterbalance this stuff. And then this is a perfect example. What Siakam went through in the bubble with his criticisms, his failings, and the things that people sent at him was awful. And in some ways, the counterbalance is the true fans, the real fans, the loyal fans, the actual fans, and not the fucking troll ass motherfuckers in their basement with their pimply ass face and they're fucking picking their lint out of their belly button. Yeah, those motherfuckers. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, fiercely saying, right, Stargate. Quickly parted ways with them somehow in an okay fashion, but RJ definitely has a point to prove. Crush him, RJ. Get him. Yeah, I mean, I think Quick will get up for this game too. I think that it'll matter to him too, that he's going to want to prove some stuff too and get back. And the competition with your friends is fun. Sometimes when you play board games or you play one-on-one with your friends on the back basketball court, you get up for it and it's fun because you're playing against guys that you kind of love and care about a lot. So yeah, I could see both these guys getting up for it. I could see OG on the other side having a similar kind of feeling going the other way. So yeah, it'll be fun. We'll see. A Malachi Flynn revenge game? I don't know. I don't know. In some ways, that's kind of funny to think about. Fun guy saying, honestly, bro, I would say join one of his calls and have a civil conversation and boost your channel exponentially. I don't want to boost my channel from people from his channel, though. I really don't. I mean, in some ways, I get what you're saying, and I could come in there and I'd probably eviscerate him. It wouldn't be fair. It really wouldn't. I could probably talk circles around him. And it would be kind of funny. But in some ways, I don't necessarily want to I don't know. It's a weird thing. I talk about with Country Kong uh, when we saw each other, and I'm like, I'm open to it, but I'm also at the same time kind of hesitant because I don't really want to interact with him. I really don't. I've had opportunities too, and I've turned them down. I have. They tried to put me on To the Point with him, and I said, no, if he's gonna be on that show, I don't want to fucking be on there. I don't want to associate with him. Is what I've told people. I don't know. In some ways, my goal is not to boost my channel exponentially. I don't give a shit. We grow as we grow. The real ones come in, they stay. The people want to leave. That's fine. I don't care. My number's steadily going up, so I must be doing something right because I'm not promoting. I'm not trying to go get people to come here. People are finding me and they're staying. And in some ways, that's more honest. In some ways, what I'm doing, just like Siakam's not making shirts for everybody to buy. Well, that's kind of how I handle my channel too. Is kind of like how Siakam is with his shirts. I'm more actually going to give you guys free shirts. Nameless is saying, I bet they draft an even taller, longer, better version of Koloko this year. There you go. There you go. That's the right kind of attitude. We'll see what we get. Hopefully it'll be good, my paisano. Fiercely saying, Lex, you keep repeating Adam Silver manipulated the 2019 team to be dismantled, but most of the players took decisions for their reasons, money, home, proximity, etc. Please elaborate your rationale. Okay, I've described this thing about the NBA. It's called the invisible hand. And it's basically the forces of the head office in New York, Adam Silver and the deputy commissioner and the different people, the marketing people of the NBA. They have ideas about how they want the NBA to look with the landscape, the whole look of it. When the Raptors won the championship, that was a problem because in some ways, people in the States were turned off by it. In some ways, they thought about bottom line things as far as ratings and as far as things. If the top team in the league is in Canada, this isn't good for the league. So as much as they need LeBron to be winning and elevated and doing something because it's generating money and he's their golden goose, in some ways, they don't need the Raptors to be successful because it's the opposite. And they don't want us to be well. And so in little subtle ways, they can manipulate things. Like, the NBA said no to the Lakers when they wanted Chris Paul a long time ago. Remember that? Well, that's a known thing that they did. There's a lot of unknown things that they do that don't get any press, and it may be on purpose that happens. There may be a whole set of things that Masai Ujiri is having to deal with as a GM in Canada that the other GMs are not having to deal with. And it may be that we don't know about it. There's also the fact that I would like to think that we would want to keep our guys, but it could very well be the NBA talked to the ownership group. Maybe they talked to Masai himself and said, look, we don't want you guys to continue to have these guys on your team. And in some ways, they're going to leave. And it's the media also helps this. All the shams and the Woj bombs and the rumors is part of the cauldron of stirring all this shit up to get guys out. I mean, after a while, if you put Anunoby and Siakam's names in that thing, you're stirring up. They're going to get enough velocity that they're going to fly right on out like they did in the last month. So it's a pointed, underground, invisible hand thing of pushing towards that for our team. And it didn't happen overnight. We can see how it happened and developed over the 5 years since our championship. And it was piece by piece. And, in some ways, did they send that energy at the Warriors to dismantle their team? No. Did they send that energy at the Bucks to dismantle their team? No, they didn't. The Bucks have pretty much the same core they had when they won the championship last year, other than Drew Holiday's gone. So that's what I'm saying is that there's underlying forces. There's forces in the advertising of the league. There's forces in the schedule making. There's forces in the NBA refs that hold us down. And that's part of it. That's part of it right there. So, yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying, I can say he was happy, but how he had a hand may be tough to prove. Well, it is tough to prove because a lot of this stuff is behind closed doors and we won't know the exact truth. There could very well be stuff that Masai knows, and that's part of the reason why he has headaches and he's frustrated and he's sad looking sometimes because he understands just how fucking unfair it is, the position he's in with what he's trying to do with the Raptors. That's what it is right there. I mean, these are reasons like wanting to go home, money, proximity, stuff like that. I get it. And that was part for each individual and different things. But, this road became what it is. And at some point, it was sad because I really wanted to be a team that could keep our culture and our championship team around as long as possible. But it was made so hard, whether it's the pandemic, whether it's whatever. It just is what it is. The NBA can help teams stay together if they want to. They didn't want to help us stay together. And that's for sure. They help the Warriors stay together. They do. They help them stay together. Let's see. Nameless is saying, I bet the Raptors draft Wemby stopper this year. That'd be cool. Get him ready because we're going to need somebody for stopping Wemby in the years to come. That's for sure. Fun guy saying, I don't think anyone but Raptors fans could have predicted the 2019 championship. Yeah, you guys may not be paying attention to this, but I'm posting my convenience store show in the community section, and it's recapping the 5 years ago during the championship year. And I predicted it twice during that season. I predicted it in the fall before we traded Jonas, and I predicted after we traded Jonas and got Marc Gasol. I said the Raptors are going to win the NBA championship, and I was right. And it's all on video. I keep posting these things, and they're not the most interesting. They're kind of weird. But they're interesting as a time capsule. If you wanted to see me during the championship year, well, that's your chance. Go to the community tab on my channel, and you can watch these old clips of me on certain days 5 years ago during the championship. In fact, there's the one coming up where we traded Jonas for Marc Gasol. You can see how I reacted on that day because it's been captured on video. And you can actually see me the day I realized Jonas Valanciunas got traded from the Raptors. And you can see my emotions that day from that clip. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, reliving the championship year and what I was doing at that time, that's how you can do it. Check out the community tab. Let's see. Wayne saying, do we realize that half the season is yet to be played? Our reset has been a very low bridge with Yak back. The whole team dynamic changes minus any major injuries. I think this is such an important thing to point out. Is that he's exactly right. Jakob being in the equation changes us completely. We should not be gauging anything right now with him out. And we could actually be a very winning team and be fine and even get a real playoff spot and not a play-in spot by the end of this year. There's a lot of games to be played. Wayne's exactly right. Wayne is exactly right. So, we can look at every place we could be. Then the submarine really low, maybe on the plane, on the water, on a pontoon boat, just sitting right on 500. That could be where we're at the end of the year, too. We'll have to see. I'm going to give Wayne a dunk for a very, very astute, smart comment because I think it is very much apropos to where we are in our situation. All right, y'all, let me wrap it up since we're at the end of the comments. I appreciate everybody being here. It's a fantastic stream today. Let's see. The injuries for New York right now are as so. Josh Hart is questionable. He will be booing R.J. Barrett from the bench is what he said. And Mitchell Robinson is out, of course. We know that. Our guys, Otto is out for today or doubtful. Jakob is out. We know Jakob is out. And that's it. Everybody else is healthy. The refs for today's game, 2:00 start. 9:05 are playing the Delaware Blue Coats and Jeffrey Doughton Jr. at 2:00 in Mississauga. Kevin Fahey, 42, is the crew chief. Gina Catanzariti is number 5, the referee. And Castine Evans, number 11, is the umpire. So watch the Raptors 9:05. 2:00 start. Coming up real soon, we get some basketball action in the afternoon. The later game, Toronto at New York in MSG. The crew chief is Ed Malloy. That is suspicious as fuck. In some ways, fuck you, Ed Malloy. I'm going to say that ahead of the game. Dedrick Taylor is the second ref. He's the nice ref. Be nice to him, Scotty. If you're going to yell at anybody, yell at Ed Malloy. Yell at C.J. Washington. C.J. Washington is the umpire, and he's a little bit problematic. But Ed Malloy favors the Knicks. Dedrick Taylor and C.J. Washington statistically favor the Raptors. Oh, let me do the Instagram stories real quick because they do matter. Scotty Barnes on Instagram all of a sudden yesterday, again, finally, they had this clip with this kid, and they're asking him, would you rather have $1,000 or this box, this Raptors box? And he's like, I don't know. That money, that's important, but I want to see what's in that box. So he takes the box, and he gets plane tickets and Raptor tickets to come to Toronto. And he's like, this is awesome. Then he comes back and tells him, he's like, my dad, he's kind of like wishes I had taken the money because it would have helped our family out a little bit better. So what do? They turn around, give him the $1,000 to his dad, and he gets that trip to the game. And they showed him at the game with getting the experience. That young man getting a great Raptors experience. What a great heartfelt story. A lot of the Raptors posting it, Scotty included. Scotty went out last night in New York City, just so y'all know. He was on Broadway. He went to see Hamilton, y'all. In fact, there's a nice picture of Scotty with the cast of Hamilton after the show on the stage. He went to watch Hamilton. It was amazing. Yeah, I've heard it's very good. My mother and Adriana went and saw it in the last year or so, and they said Hamilton was amazing. So Scotty's a Hamilton fan, and he enjoyed going to see Hamilton last night, just so y'all know. Let's see. Vote for your up next game for the NBA G League. Vote for Marquise Noel. OG Anunoby posting his Staples commercial and his crazy, goofy office lifestyle when he's in Staples. So go check out Staples OG, New York Knicks fans. You will laugh your ass off. He's doing TED Talks. And he's talking like he's like, oh, this is how you do business in the OG's office business at my house. Yeah, there you go. Marquise Noel's asking you to vote for him, y'all. So go vote for him. Dennis Schroeder's been very happy having his older brother in town, visiting from Germany. Shay, I hope you've had a great time here. Too bad it was so cold. I apologize to you, Mr. Shay, big brother of Dennis Schroeder, that it was so cold in Toronto while you were here. Thad Young making kissy faces at Shakina behind the bench. As usual, you see him making kissy faces, speaking sweet nothings to his wife from being in the huddle at the Raptors game. And I bet the guy who's sitting in front of Shakina is like, oh, is Thad Young making a pass at me? What is he doing? He seems like he's winking at me right now. Is that Young? It's like, why is he doing that? Is that attracted to me? I don't know. No, his wife is sitting behind you. That's what's going on. Koloko posted something about the coach in Cameroon. Something's going on over there. I feel for you, Koloko. I just want good things for you. I know everything's scary and weird right now. We just want you to get better and just be healthy. I don't even care about basketball stuff anymore. I only care about you as a human being. How about that? There's your Instagram stories real quick. Right at the end there, getting them in there real quick. Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit over 12 o'clock, just a little bit. Cool Cat saying we can also read between the lines from Masai's presser. Also, front office listens to all of our special media sessions. They respond to our discussions, statements all the time. I swear. I mean, seriously, if I have any ear of the Raptors organization, I appreciate y'all. And seriously, this is something I will do for a long time. Now, if you do not like what I'm doing, Raptors organization, you can contact me and you can tell me how to change it. I will work with y'all. I don't need to be paid. I don't need to be an official employee. But if you want me to do a good thing for y'all on y'all's behalf, you tell me how you want me to do my channel. I'll do it for you. Seriously. I will want to compromise being 100% Lex. But if there are certain things that I'm doing on this channel that are annoying y'all, you can tell me and I will stop. Because I am a company man. I may not be a corporate man, but I am a company man for the Raptors. And I don't want to hurt my team. So if y'all have anything y'all want to give me feedback on Raptors organization proper, I am listening. And I will do things that you need me to do to help you. Because I want to be part of helping and not part of the problem. That's right. Stargate saying the NBA is also in cahoots with the entities like Hockey Canada, the NHL, and Eddie Boy against the Raptors. Yeah. That's the thing. We've got people for us, for the things we want. Larry O'Brien's championships in Toronto, Masai Ujiri. And then we have people that are not for that. Hockey Canada. Yeah, the NBA itself proper. Yeah, that's how much we are against. That's why we're badasses and outlaws when we succeed and we win. Because there's a lot of forces out there that don't want to see it. There's a lot. And that's why we're badasses when we get it to happen. That's right. We're going to get it to happen again, too. Yeah, G saying allowing Ballmer to tamper with Kawhi is one example. No one cared that he was at a Raptors game. The foul calls, the lack of coverage, the glowing ways the media speaks of our players after they leave. Yeah, G's giving good examples. The tampering of Kawhi with no punishments is a good example. Nick Nurse is another huge, perfect example of what everything that went wrong with Nick in this last year. There was tampering involved with him too. There was definitely tampering between Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse while he was the coach here. And nobody's going to investigate that or talk about it. That's something I'll talk about here and say that this is something that we probably should have gotten compensation for. But they're not going to do that. It's the same exact thing as G saying with Ballmer and Kawhi Leonard, that there was tampering involved with Nick Nurse going to Philadelphia. I think you'd be stupid if you didn't think there was. And they obviously could have investigated that and put something on them, but they didn't want to because they don't care. They were happy this happened. They were happy that, and that's the hardest part to get out is the coach in some ways. If the coach is super successful and the coach is like Nick Nurse, to get that championship coach off of our team was really hard. And there had to be some sort of crazy underlying subterfuge. And that was part of what made the team so confusing last year. And so, what the fuck is going on right now? Yeah, invisible hand of NBA, Daryl Morey, Nick Nurse having underlying bullshit in the middle of our team and causing all that kind of bullshit. So those are good examples right there. Kawhi and Nick are two very good examples. Fun guy saying you should snippet that Siakam letter reaction and title it nicely and post that, and I bet it could blow up and Pascal could see it. Ask Tom or something. I don't know. Once again, I'm not worried about blowing up. If I blow up, it's going to be because I naturally did, because something happened that way. In some ways, I'm not trying to put out myself and promote. The real ones will find me, and they will be here with me, like y'all. And in some ways, I don't want it to get too big than it should be, because in some ways, it'll be a lot harder to deal with, and it may not be as fun here as it is right now. If I have to deal with way more people, then I have to start making tough decisions about how I do my comments. Then I have to start making tough decisions on a lot of stuff. And I don't want to do that. In some ways, I don't want to blow up and get too big because it makes it takes away from what we're doing already. It's like a well-kept secret. If y'all want to be here with me, tell the people that would really enjoy it and promote. Yeah. But in some ways, I don't want to be mainstream. I don't want to get so big that I'm having to make changes to what I'm doing because I'm getting so big. How about that? Does that make sense? But I would love that idea. If you guys think that letter was, in some ways, it's cringe to me. I watched it back and I'm like, damn, Lex, you're crying. Damn, you look like, Alan Tam was making fun of you. And I'm like, in some ways, it is really dangerous and scary sometimes that I put myself out so honestly and openly and put myself unfiltered. It's very, very risky and scary in some ways. And a lot of people would never do some of the things I do on this channel. So in some ways, that's a cringe moment for me. I don't know if I really want to put it out there because I'm showing emotion. And people like y'all will understand and you'll care for me. But somebody who doesn't fucking know me, a stranger, they'll be like, look at this pathetic idiot crying. And in some ways, I don't want to put myself out there for everybody to see. People will find me. They find me because they care about the Raptors. And that's good. That's the right way to find me. Yeah. Let's see. Stargate saying, and our own Canadian basketball media doesn't help the situation either. Well, they're employed by the same people and they're part of the same umbrella. They seem to always just acquiesce to their American counterparts with the anti-Raptor narratives with little or no pushback. Yeah, we have no homerism. We're not allowed to have homerism. And that's part of the reason why I am so homer, is because there has to be a counterbalance. All these other teams in the States have homerism like crazy in the broadcast. Brian Scalabrine is walking homerism. But, in some ways, Matt and Jack are homers, and I love them for it. But our Raptors broadcast wasn't always homers. Sometimes Chuck Swirsky was really the first one. He came in. The guys early on, they were not homers the way they covered our team. Leo Routens was very much not a homer for the first half of his Raptors broadcasting career. He was in some ways, very mean to our team and doing exactly some of the stuff you're saying right there. But yeah, this is true. In some ways, our Raptors, Canadian media uphold the American media tropes up here, and even though they don't need to, but it just solidifies it. In some ways, people may see something on American TV, and then they'll see the Canadian guys and they'll say, well, I believe the American guys more because they just obviously know better because Canada knows hockey better than basketball. And they have to go along with it. That may be part of it. I don't know. Fiercely saying, thank you for your explanation, Lex. I see you. Makes total sense. It's all good. That's what we're doing here. If there's questions, if there's education, if there's any kind of things that people want cleared up, I will try and help you as my best I can. Let's see. Wayne saying, what? Masai teared up. I cried. We're tough motherfuckers. We value authenticity. That's right. That's right. In some ways, I am a company man already because I'm just like Siakam and Masai. I'm a real one. I'm authentic. And that's what we value in Raptors organization. Siakam's so real. He cannot be anything other than himself. And I love him for it. I love him for it so much. All right, we were doing the wrap up. Let's do the marquee main event matchup. Welcome to Madison Square Gardens, WrestleMania, the home of WrestleMania. King Kong Bundy, SD Jones, Hulk Hogan, Mr. T, Rodney Piper. Yeah, the Mecca, MSG in this corner, coming out of the red and black corner. From Canada, number 9, RJ Barrett. And in this corner, from London, UK, number 8, OG Anunoby. And tonight we are going to have Office Olympics, just like the Staples commercial. That's right. We're going to see who can do the dumb Jim Halpern Office Olympics of the Office episode. Who can do it better, RJ or OG? Who can do the Staples Office Olympics better? I don't know. That's what I'm making up. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Please like, comment, subscribe, and join. But not so many of you all at once that it inundates me and makes me change this channel profoundly. No, I don't want that to happen. But I do like more people to come in and find us as you do naturally. That would be great. And I will see y'all tomorrow, 9:30, for a reaction to both the games today. Get ready for 2 o'clock action, 9:05, y'all. And 7:30, the big enchilada. New York Knicks fans, may the best team win. And we love you, OG. We love you, Precious. Malachi, And RJ and Emmanuel, you get to go back to MSG and say hello to your friends. And let's get that win tonight, Raptors. That's right. Let's go.